Thank you for joining us. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. We're going to start this evening off a little different tonight. We have a couple of proclamations that I'd like to hand out. First, Mr. Plusky.
David Farhead, come on up.
So this year, Davey was our state champion. He is only our second state champion with Manchester Youth Wrestling in the history of the program.
Wow.
Very proud of him. So David, I'm going to read this out to you. The City of New Franklin proclamation. Now comes the Council of the City of New Franklin hereby makes the following declaration. Whereas David Farhead Jr. is a lifelong resident of New Franklin and is currently 11 years old, he is homeschooled in the 5th grade. And whereas David has been wrestling since he was in kindergarten at 5 years old, he's always loved the sport and the challenge, both on and off the mat. You love him now, right? Whereas David is currently an athlete with the Manchester Youth Wrestling Club in the 105-pound division. Whereas David achieved status as a state champion with a 19-2 record and pinned everyone in all of his matches at the state tournament on February 15, 2026, held at Glen Oak High School in Canton, Ohio. Whereas NYWC is part of the OIWA, Ohio Youth Wrestling Association, which supports 15 sites throughout northeastern Ohio and involves approximately 125 teams, 3,000 wrestlers. OIWA is an instructional league intended to help kids in K through 6th grades learn about wrestling and sportsmanship. And whereas David has a big personality with a kind heart, he can make a friend anywhere. He loves to fish, ride dirt bikes, play football. If he's not wrestling, David is usually fishing. Full of excitement for his next catch. And whereas David also competes in mounted archery where he won his first buckle in his youth division in 2025. Now, therefore, recognition of David Farhead Jr.'s accomplishments thus far, with a look to the future for more success to come for this young man, City Council recognizes and congratulates this outstanding youth athlete on this 18th day of March 2026. And just to say a few things, a lot of people might not realize this, but me being up on here has to do with this kid right here. I don't know if you remember, Dave, when this happened, but he convinced, and for me being on the wrestling program, I never wrestled. I was not a part of the program. Dave convinced my son to come and wrestle. In turn, got me involved in the wrestling program, which we started the nonprofit. And then people from our wrestling program said, "Hey, you should run for city council." So I am here because of him. He said, "No, it's not my
Hey, come there and stand in the middle for me there, please. I just gotta get the case. I can't do she's trusting me to do that. So, yeah. I'll take a couple of them. What in a different background. Good job, David.
Huh? Yeah, do you want to say anything?
No. He's a man of few words.
Good job, David. All right. I will do that. We have one other proclamation. This is for a resident who turned 102 years old, who lives in our community. We visited her at her house yesterday. She lives with her daughter Becky on Spangler. And Sharp is intact. It's unbelievable. Gets around pretty well. Like all of us, her eyesight and hearing is going with age, but other than that, it's doing very well. So I'll read hers now. Whereas Mescal Christine Mullins McEwen turned 100 years young on Leap Day in 2024 and just celebrated her 102nd birthday in 2026. And whereas she was born in Richwood, West Virginia, and was one of only 7 babies born in the hospital there. She was raised on Cranberry Ridge near Camden on Gauley in Webster County, West Virginia. And whereas Mescal Mullins and her sister left West Virginia when they were 18 and 19 years old respectively, and moved to Akron in 1942 with $40 each. Mullins worked as a Rosie the Riveter at Goodyear Aerospace during World War II, making airplanes for the war effort. A co-worker took a liking to Mescal and said, "I've got 6 boys, one of them has got to be right for you." Mullins met Morris McEwen when he came to pick up his mother from work. It was basically love at first sight, and the two were married 2 months later before he shipped out with the Navy for about 2 years. And whereas Mullins and McEwen were married on January 31st, 1943. Together they had 4 children, 9 grandchildren, 18 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren. They were married 72 years, which I thought she should get another proclamation for, when he passed at age 93. And whereas Mescal was a lifelong member of the Akron Baptist Temple and then Milheim Baptist Church. She served in the 2-year-old Sunday school department for 50 years and was involved in the nursing home ministry and the kitchen at the Akron Baptist Temple. She was a stay-at-home mom, but also sold Avon and Tupperware, enjoyed sewing, gardening, crocheting, and loved to read. Although her vision is nearly gone, she still loves to listen to audiobooks as her mind is sharp as ever. Proverbs 31:28 sums up her life well. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Now therefore, in recognition and celebration of a life well lived, the Council of the City of New Franklin designates Tuesday, March 17, 2026 as Mescal Christine Mullins McEwen Day in the City of New Franklin and extends best wishes for many years ahead. Happy birthday, Mescal. Kyle joined us in celebrating with her yesterday, and like you said, I thought it was a great visit, great family.
It was very inspiring just to listen to her talk and everything and talk about some of her experiences and stuff. And it was a great time to meet her.
I appreciate her heckling was as sharp as ever too with her own kids. It was pretty funny to see. So.
I mean, yeah, to see her, I figured I didn't know that was her. I figured she was in her 80s.
No, she was great.
Yeah, looks great, very sharp. Very, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
2 great things. You guys are more than welcome to leave if you want. We're gonna have, depends on how long you want to stay, but you're welcome to leave. We have our department head too tonight. So I'm not sure what department head wants to start. But remember that the first department head gets to cut a little slack for his presentation. When you get to the end, you should really know how it's going and you can be able to manage. You guys can decide.
Come on,
You first.
Yeah, David.
They're out.
You're all done. Thanks for coming. I don't want to extract nothing on my way.
Listen, I got a brother. You get a piece of your mind. Maybe. Okay, I can start it. I guess the best way to do this is just talk about last year. We come out of last year to now, what's going on with this department. Staffing wise, staffing stayed consistent. We still have 20 full-time officers. That includes 14 that are assigned to patrol, 1 full-time detective, 1 part-time detective, and 2 school resource officers, and 2 department heads. So 20 total. Last year we did have an officer resign. That position's been filled by another full-time officer. And last year we hired a part-time officer too. He's got 20-some years of experience. He just picks up a couple shifts here and there for us, and then we need coverage to prevent overtime. So we're using in-kind sparingly. Really, with that 20 officers, we try to put 3 officers out per shift. 3 shifts, 3 officers, 14 officers of patrol. That usually works out pretty good. So I don't anticipate any more officers you needed in the near future. I think 3 per shift is a comfortable level for us, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. So I think we're not going to be coming back to you guys or anybody else asking for more staff. I think we're where we're at. Out of all those officers, we like to collaborate regionally with different departments, different task force, not only to help them, but also helps us if we ever have a big event out here, frankly. Right now, we have 3 officers assigned to the OBI task force. We see them out on holidays, weekends, throughout the summer, doing the checkpoints. So we have 3 officers that volunteer to do that. We have 2 officers assigned to the U.S. Marshals Task Force. We use them here sparingly. It's really when they're needed. It's probably 2 or 3 times a month. We can spare them to go anywhere really in Northeast Ohio looking for fugitives. New one for us is we have an officer on the Summit County Metro crash team. That's Officer Beavers. So anywhere in Summit County, or the Portage County, they'll respond to big crashes. We're specially trained. He's been going through the training. He's got 3 of the 4 classes knocked out now. He's going to do another one in September. So he'll be fully certified as an accident reconstructionist for that team. He was just called out yesterday on 77 for that 23-hour pileup, so he was out there for that. We have 2 officers on the Metro SWAT team. That hasn't changed from last year. Same 2 officers, same deal with Metro SWAT. They help out with manpower if we ever need it. They're extra eyes or extra bodies searching for somebody, or for the fireworks that can be out there. Have like a tactical team just on standby if we need them. They have drones, different robots we can use. So it's really been a benefit to collaborate with all the different departments. There's stuff that we really shouldn't buy or can't buy here in New Franklin. We can use that kind of as a pool and use it collectively. So it's worked out good. In the past year, we had 5,300 calls for service. I took out all the business checks and house checks. These are extra calls that come to the police station asking for a police officer. That averages out to about 15 calls a day. And really, I look back the last 3 years, and it's always right around that number. Give or take, maybe 100. So it's inconsistent. So about 15 a day or about 500 a year. Traffic safety-wise, we had 179 crashes in the past year in New Franklin. 1,004 traffic stops, 205 sites from those traffic stops. So we're citing about 2 out of every 10 drivers that we keep the road. Out of those traffic stops, we had 47 OBI arrests, and that's been consistent over the years too. It's always 45, 46. It's never too much out of 40s. It's always right about that. Equipment and training. This is kind of a cookies deal, but in the past year we've been trying to update our computers. We've kind of slowly picking away at our IT security, updating some firmware and some. Well, I can do this right. But updating a lot of our computers to the new Windows. Then kind of snowballs. You know, when we update this, now we update this. That kind of ties into a few different stuff and gives us a resolution for us. Some of the costs that we're going to talk about. Other equipment we had flotation devices to all the cruisers and throw bags if someone's in the water. We learned that the hard way. We had a couple of water incidents in the past year, and we just never had them. I don't know too many departments that do, but the officers came to me and said, hey, we get some life jackets in there, some ropes to save some people. So we got those, and luckily we haven't had to use them yet, but they're there in case they need. Really, the training, we were required to do 24 hours a year per officer. That's our bare minimum. Most officers are getting more than 24 hours of minimum training. With that training, with our policies, and with our in-house training, we maintain our Ohio Member certification through 25 of this year. We already started working this year to be certified again this year. That certification, we pretty much just said that our policies are up to date, they're accurate, they're enforced, and that allows us to apply for grants. If we don't have that, then the grants aren't going to us. As far as crime trends, The biggest one I've seen in the city is cyber crimes and scams. This has been a big issue, probably 2 or 3 people in a week. Some people are out a lot of money. Our detectives work, these cases almost exclusively, also, or Detective Bolus, he's kind of got the niche of it now as far as how to track down some cryptocurrency, how to freeze money. He's kind of the one being on for the crypto type stuff. Hitchings, last year, he was able to freeze money in India. We were able to return, I want to say it's close to $30,000 for a lady they got scammed out. So I asked them today, what's the number you guys have? How much money have you got back into they got scammed? The number they gave me was $48,000. And that's a drop in the bucket. So that's the biggest crime trend I'm seeing is the scams. Where it's nonstop. Through phones or through emails, they're reaching out and trying to get scams people. Community engagement. We're busy with this. We do about 10 things a year. Safety City, it's a week-long event for the kindergartners coming in. Unpass the kick, touch a truck, shop the cop, burgers and badges. We do the sand delivery. We do the Philip Cruiser food drive. Trick or treat, we're out there handing out candy, and the senior watch. So those keep us busy throughout the year. It seems like there's always something we're planning for, kind of getting candy for, getting donations for. It's nonstop throughout the year. It's just 10 things. We're going to add some this year, though. Speaking on the scams, Detective Bolus has put together a summer series. We partnered with Fort Worth Library to put together 3 kind of seminars on scams. So we're going to be up there June, July, and August. He's got a PowerPoint put together as far as what to look for. If you see this or you hear this, these are some of the typical things a scammer will do for you. Kind of give them some tips. When they call us, what to do, what not to do, what to click on, what not to click on, and emails. Training this year, we have a training next Friday, actually in this room. It's going to be on use of force and tactical first aid. Stop and bleed is what it's called. We had a new first aid kits called the Cruisers. Tourniquets, bandages, gauze, or life packs. Everything's going to be in one bag, and we're just going to have one. In the past, they kind of just, the officers put their own together. It was really consistent. There was no inventory of what we had, what we didn't have, so we're trying to tighten that up and keep one bag each cruiser with everything we need in it. The other thing, and this is, I'm not sure if you told me this or not, but 2 of our officers are being awarded the National Award for Bravery in a couple of weeks down in Nashville. They won the award. It's a countrywide award today. They were picked for the officers that saved the lady that went to the ice last February. So they'll be down in Nashville getting the award. Get a little treatment down there for a couple days. So that's a pretty good deal for us. That's really all I have. If there's any questions, anything else I'm missing, go on.
What do you see in the department as maybe a need for equipment or something that maybe other departments have that we don't, or maybe something that we need? Do you see anything like that in the future? Something we can maybe budget for or look at the grants?
Yeah, I'm looking at the JAG grant this summer. It hasn't been released yet, but I'm not tracking with the drones. A lot of officers are going with the drones. And, it's nice to have one on the Metro SWAT team, but for us to do that, it's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours out. By the time we get from wherever it's at, get it down here. The drone operator has to do that. So it'd be nice to have one here, just for a quick response. I know in Akron they have them in their cruisers. They have multiple drones. They can set up. So before you get the call, they're kind of getting eyes on what's going on.
Do we train our guys for the drone class in-house, or is that something we use a resource for?
Yeah, we have to send them out. Yeah, once you're certified.
I can help you with that. I've trained a bunch of people. Some people are on the SWAT team, actually, veteran SWAT team.
Yeah.
So I can give you set up
Okay.
information, so I've got my license.
Yeah, it's on my wish list. It's not something I'm really a buddy for, but I get a grant for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tackle that.
How much do those cost typically?
They vary. They've come down a lot in the last few years, but I'm gonna say probably 15,000.
15.
Depends what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get like the enterprise ones. I think that's what Metro SWAT had for a while. You got a different attachment. You wouldn't record messages, they have thermal imaging, there's a bunch of stuff that goes on them. You can get the tethered ones as well, where you don't even need a license to fly it, but that's more for fire.
It's great if we have a missing person or missing child, we can send up for shit, right, with the thermal.
That's exactly what I was gonna say with the park being there,
Yeah.
missing gentleman a couple years ago.
Yeah, the park has one, they've been good about listening to our radio and seeing if we need one that volunteer, but we have a couple of weekends over here, it's just, they're novice here, so it's nice to have one.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Go right down the line.
Whatever you're comfortable with, Chief Leslie.
I'm coming up here and sit because I'm not quite as young and limber as.
How you gonna cheat on your laser light show or anything like that?
Plus, I like to mark off as I'm going. For the fire department, 2025, staffing levels have stayed consistent for us. We've added a few. We were fortunate enough to add a few part-time people. So we're sitting at 3 shifts of 6 career guys each, and 10 part-time at this point. While staffing-wise, we're doing fairly well, we do have a number of our full-time firefighters that are also in the National Guard, which impacts us because they're gone, you know, once a week in a month and 2 weeks in the summertime. We now have one who has been deployed. He's deployed to Texas right now on a year-long deployment, so he is not available for us to use. So we're having to fill with overtime and shift some things around for that. But at this point, staffing has at least stabilized somewhat for us. So for 2025, we did not have to brown out or close down Station 2 whatsoever with the 3 additional staff that we put on last December. So that's a good thing. So we're holding our own for right now on staffing. Responses in 2025, we had a total of 2,308 responses for us. Of those responses, 144 were fire responses. Out of those fire responses, 10 were actual structure fires within the city. EMS responses, we responded to 1,816 EMS calls. We transported 1,098 patients to the hospital the last year. We responded then to water responses. We had 18 water responses and 4 drownings last year within the city. So it was a busy summer for us last year. Hopefully we won't see that again this summer. As far as our responses go, our busiest months are for 25, which stays pretty consistent every year, May through August, our peak months. Last year we averaged, May through August, we averaged 251 responses per month. So it's summertime for us, the influx of people on the lakes, the just influx cost us, keep us busy. As far as public events go, major events last year that we attended or were involved with, we had 6 of those major events within the city. Obviously, the largest one is the fireworks. That takes us months to plan for, and that's a multi-agency, multi-state and local asset coordination there. We use the sheriff's office, we use our neighboring departments, so it's a pretty complex event that we cover and protect. Some of the smaller events we do throughout the city, we attend the Easter egg hunt at the Tudor House every year. We, much like the police department, we try and go out on duty guys. They go out and pass out candy at Halloween, be present, be out there, be visible. We also do the touch a truck. And then one of the other things we do is we coordinate with the Kiwanis to do the Santa deliveries. So us and Coventry are the only two departments that collect presents for them currently for Kiwanis. Public education, we conduct public CPR classes. We did a total of 4 public CPR classes last year, which is consistent. We do a quarterly, or we schedule a quarterly CPR class. We also provided CPR to the schools, Manchester local schools, to the all of the athletic staff. We're certified. We did our police officers, and we also work with the police department on Safety City. Fire inspections last year, we have a part-time fire safety inspector. They conducted 140, or he conducted, between him and our other inspectors, conducted 143 fire safety inspections last year of the various occupancies within the city. And that also includes like foster homes and any time we're required. The state requires those fire inspections for foster homes. So we handle all of those for the state. Our biggest thing, grants. In 2025, we received a total of $226,180 in grants. We continue to be very aggressive with grants for equipment, apparatus, everything. We received $4,785 from the state EMS department and that allows us to buy supplies like gloves. It's a reimbursement grant for gloves and different medical supplies that we use in EMS. The big one was the assistance, the FEMA, the AFG grant assistance to firefighters. That was $190,476. That allowed us to upgrade our cardiac monitors, defibrillators, to the latest technology. We actually had, for our monitors, we were running first year for our cardiac monitors, and they were no longer being supported by physio control of life tank. So that was a huge plus for us to get that grant. That really helped us out a lot. We've received the State Fire Marshal's equipment grant for $17,924. That allowed us to buy 4 sets of structural firefighting gear through the State Fire Marshal's office. And then we also received a grant through Blue Coats, which is a private organization or an organization to raise funds to support police and fire. We did a regional grant with Coventry, Greene, and Springfield Township, and we were able to purchase 4 handheld sonar units. So that, like at the swim beach, if we have a drowning, you can basically go out, set it in the water, and you can scan the water right at the swim area or anywhere else. We used it. We had a car in the water at the old state park, one of our 4 drowning calls, or one of our water calls last year. We used it there too to scan and see, make sure there weren't anybody else in the water other than the person that was in the car. That was huge. That got us our share of that alone was just shy of $13,000, so it was $12,995. And then that is consistent with, so now all 4 departments have the identical handheld sonar, side scan sonar. So that means if we would not have a operator specifically for our unit, somebody from Greene who is an operator for theirs, they're all the same unit. So it just keeps us consistent in our water rescue. So we're going to continue with grants as they come up. We're working on them. Grants have been huge for us. Of our 2 engines, frontline engines, and our tanker, all 3 of those have been purchased via AFG. This year for 26, when the AFG comes open again, our goal is to go ahead and apply and replace our engine 2 at Station 2. It's a 1998, and it's getting some time on it, and it's costing us in maintenance. It's starting to cost us considerably, so we're hoping to apply for that.
When do those usually open up, Steve?
Usually that's, with the government, the way it's been, they just finished up the last one, so it could be I'm anticipating sometime this spring. So June or July, maybe. It's the latest, probably July. But, that's it. Any questions?
How much does that truck cost?
That's gonna be about $800,000 to $1 million, somewhere in there. And it's, right now, they're looking at, talking with the other chiefs, you're looking at 2 to 2.5 years from time of order till the time you receive it. So,
That was the biggest shock to me, learning the lead times of police and
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
It's just crazy.
yeah, they really, post-COVID, they're through the road, right? You have to plan so far in advance for it.
With our,
No,
with our last truck we purchased, didn't we go with a different version of the truck? Not the, I thought there was a difference between like a GM or a Kenworth or whatever versus an actual Fire brand.
no, it's a Pierce.
Okay, so we could go with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, all 3 of our trucks are
I
Pierce.
know they offer lesser versions of that.
They do, and that's something we'll definitely look into with a new truck. Will be, they make a commercial chassis, so you can get a Freightliner or a commercial chassis. The issue we've always been, the drawback for that is it's always been an issue with turning radius. And with us and our areas around the lakes specifically where we're real tight, it's very hard to buy a truck with a bigger turning radius than the custom trucks. So that's been now they've improved that technology and those radius, that turning radius is been reduced, but whether it's going to be enough for us to make it work for us or not is yet to be seen. So, but we definitely will look into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Winslow. Next up, we go to Stephen. Stephen, as you guys know, but just our best, does all of our IT, cybersecurity, things like that, and he's taught me a lot about technology in my short time there. Chief Wesley always has to pick up. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name is Stephen Cook. I'm a full-time firefighter, paramedic with the city, and also kind of like the IT liaison between the city and the external IT world. In the capacity, I work closely with the city, helping with coordination, planning, and implementation of IT projects and services across all the departments. Also assist with day-to-day troubleshooting and basic tech support if needed. So I'll just kind of go through an overview of like the recent purchases and the upgrades that we've done over the last year. I think all of you are probably aware because they're pretty large purchases. So, but for those who don't, so I'll just go through the last year. So in April of last year, we replaced our security cameras across several different departments. That system was an outdated analog system with the majority of the equipment original to the buildings. It was replaced with a more higher resolution, modern IP-based system. That enhancement significantly improves video quality, system reliability, and overall security for camera monitoring. July of last year, we replaced multiple servers, which were aging and on the verge of failing. One specifically, the police server, had a couple components that had died. It didn't, shut the machine down, but there were issues, and we needed to get that replaced. Those original servers from last year were manufactured in 2011 and 2014, so 15 years old. During the project, we consolidated infrastructure by going from 5 physical servers to 2, which reduces hardware footprint improves performance, and lowers long-term maintenance and replacement costs. December of last year, we made some changes to the city's cybersecurity policy to align with current state requirements, including House Bill 96. Some updates to that policy include threat detection and monitoring criteria, incident response procedures and checklists, and ransomware response protocols. The policy also requires cybersecurity training for all employees, which will focus on educating, identifying, reporting, and responding to potential cyber threats. Also in December, we renewed and upgraded the city's contract with its managed service provider, ETC Tech Solutions, adding several key services and capabilities that we didn't previously have, including advanced antivirus and device monitoring, secure VPN access for devices that are not inside the city network, including laptops and like the police officers, MDTs that are in the cruisers. More of a administration password manager, so instead of, in the old days, people write down passwords on post-it notes, there's a more formal password manager that is very secure compared to the old technology. And then also multi-factor authentication. By upgrading and enhancing these services, we're strengthening our overall cybersecurity framework and better protecting the city against evolving threats. Lastly, this past month in February, we started and have nearly completed 90% of a citywide access control upgrade. This upgrade consolidates 3 separate legacy systems across 3 separate buildings into a single unified platform, eliminating redundant equipment, contracts, and subscriptions. The previous system was also aging as this system was installed with the building. This new access control system allows employees to utilize a single credential across all city facilities, of course based on access privileges, and improving security and operations. Some current and future projects that we kind of have planned include the Summit Connects Fiber Initiative, which is the construction of a 130-mile countywide fiber ring connecting all 31 communities in Summit County. This project is at no cost to the city and is being paid for by a grant through Summit County. This infrastructure will provide high-speed and reliable connectivity to the City Hall, as well as redundant communication pathways during emergency or service outages. Due to it being underground and due to the fiber ring structure, if there was a major outage, cellular was down, and other, emergency issues, we would still have the redundancy, and theoretically, all communities could still talk to each other with the intranet. The city plans with this initiative and this fiber project to transition to this network as the primary internet connection once available, and also to evaluate sending connectivity to additional city buildings, specifically the service department. Currently, they down in New Hampshire, very limited hardwire internet. There's no cable and no fiber over that way. So right now they're dealing with cellular. It's very, I know the last storm we had, it was very hard to be able to work down there. Phone calls, Teams meetings, just because of the reliability of the cellular connection. So definitely we're going to look at trying to add tie into the fiber Summit Connects to the service departments first. We're also exploring grant opportunities to replace the existing digital sign located on Manchester Road in front of the fire department. The current sign is approximately 15 years old, and has experienced significant wear due to continuous outdoor exposure and operations. And lastly, we're in the early stages of upgrading the audio and video equipment in the council chambers. Still very early, just trying to talk and get everybody together. When complete, this upgrade will provide clearer audio and video for those viewing from home, and also provide better audio for those attending in person. We're also kind of looking at different options for presentations, whether we have a projector, like a permanent projector, or we look at a TV. So those are definitely talks that we're having now. To close, we will continue strengthening our cybersecurity efforts while modernizing our technology to improve reliability and efficiency, all while remaining financially responsible by pursuing cost-saving opportunities and available grant funding. Any questions?
Super, thank you.
Thank you.
I would just say, Stephen, hold on. I would just like to add, Stephen's a new father. Congratulations to you and your wife. A little earlier than he anticipated becoming a new father, but despite all that, he has been, every time I've called with my many technology problems and operator error, he has answered the call and walked me through a lot of it. It has really been a valuable resource to me as well. Not only as a firefighter and paramedic, but just in that capacity, helping me understand how to my limited experience with technology. So I do appreciate that as well, and I know you have some other things going on, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
May I add also, he is very kind. He really is, because I call him like that too, and he's always excellent.
He's probably nicer to you than me and Judy, but he answers the call when I phone.
But he is, he's just a joy. He really
He
is.
is.
Thanks,
Thanks, Stephen.
as well. Yes, Ed Stevens is a firefighter, medic, and he noticed a void in our community, in our city, that he
Right.
stepped in to fill that, and thank you, Greg, you've done a great job.
Yeah, but you're not compensated for his position, right?
Yeah. Oh, you are? Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, we're working on
You
a,
need to,
he is, and we're working on a title
for sure.
for that, just when he calls, say, in reference to our cybersecurity, so they'll talk to him, because he's actually our representative for the city. So we're working through that. He had other problems I needed to deal with getting started, but as he's getting back to work and doing those things, we'll present that to you when we're ready. So
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you. Thanks.
I guess
no, you can't applaud him. Well, I'm here for Chief Leslie tomorrow now.
Liz, how do you feel?
Chief Bigot won't want to call me about that tomorrow. All right, Service Department, please.
Jill and I are package deal again.
This is Dale Corley and Courtney Testa.
A couple sheets, and I'll explain these if you each want to take one package. They're just an example.
Here in case you don't know some words.
I really was hoping you'd do this, Dale.
Right up there.
So some of the things that we talk about are going to be over the last couple of years, just because the projects are larger scale and have taken some time to work out. But in the last couple of years for our paving project, we've done a total of 21 roads. That does include the ones that were resurfaced with the Rollins water line. For the cemetery, we had passed the new rules and regulations last year, which are now in full force. And the moratorium that we had has been lifted. That was in place because our records were dispersed in City Hall and down in service, and everything was kept on paper copies. So that has all been digitized and now in one database, which is much more user-friendly, easier to search, and consistent. So we have resumed selling grades now. We do have a wait list we're working our way through. If there is a passing, we can still do the service and sell one at that time. But for now, since we were on a moratorium, we're going to try to be fair to those on the wait list and work our way. For those of you that don't know, we have a courtesy ditch enclosure program where the residents purchase the materials and we go out and install directly tied to ditch enclosures for them. That has been a lengthy list. Within the last year, we completed over 50 of them. And most of those things, Dale, he's had them all lined up and ready to go. So those we made a lot of headway on. Another aspect of the digitization that we've done are for our permits and all of our payments online. So restitution from auto accidents, we are able to collect online, which makes it more user-friendly and helps with invoicing. And with our permits as well, we now have an application that are for contractors and residents, so it's streamlined. We're not asking residents for information that they wouldn't know when we are the contractor, when we are the ones that are doing the installation from these projects. For the parks, electric has been restored at the pavilion at Girl Park. We had added fill to the parking lot at Lockhart where it was previously unusable. I know there's still a lot of work to do on that parking lot, but at least it gives us a little bit more room now. Hopefully help that. In addition to the parks, we got a ball machine last year that's just much more up to date, a lot faster, a lot more accurate, and a lot more options to care for the fields than what we did with the old one. And then we also got a skid steer that's just versatile. We use that in all three departments: park, cemetery, and roads. For all of our equipment and vehicle records, those are all now online, or not online, I'm sorry, digitized and on digital records so that we can search them. It just helps with the time and accuracy of identifying, if something goes wrong, it's a couple of clicks and we can find the cost, find the vendor, you get things ordered that way. And then, as you all know, for infrastructure, we just passed an ordinance to require utility companies to remove their abandoned infrastructure from the right of way. And then for our resource improvement, that is what the example that I gave each of you was for, is our work order system called FMX. This promotes organization and efficiency. It has been critical for communication, especially inside the office and out, to be able to keep everyone on the same page on each individual task. And then the reporting feature is what that shows an example of. We can filter by employee, we can filter by department, we can filter numerous ways. So we can really keep track of department spending as needed. And then our mapping program, we have SA mapping, the work management with the FMX. We've started locating and documenting all of the city's assets. Some of the information that we'll be mapping are the city-owned properties, easements, railways, guardrails, signs, so locating everything that the city owns, make sure we can keep track of that. A couple energy improvement updates that we've done are all of our garages now have insulated or new insulation, so less wear and tear on vehicles in the winter, and just safe storage. And then we update all of our lighting as well for the LED lights. And the vehicles do have a fuel system upgrade, so we can keep track of mileage, fuel usage, and with that, the fueling unit itself has an increased capacity, so all departments will be able to use it if need be, and especially with the golf store. Going under construction is now an option for us to offer. We did have PMG, a paving management company, assess all of our roads, so we now have scores and can decide for additional paving based on quality and usability, what's manageable. And then just in snow and ice control, of course, we all know is a huge portion of what our department does. In 2025, we spent just under 1,700 hours out on the roads and used just under 4,000 tons of salt. In 2026, so in 3 months, they spent 950 hours out and just under 800 tons of salt. For our staffing, we have a night shift that runs over the winter from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. The employees actually just came back to day shift this week, so we'll start on all of the spring cleanups and transitioning there. Different training that we've participated in are snow and ice control training, a flagger safety training, and required PPE. We did a stormwater design workshop. Mike, who's our road work leader, and myself gained our commercial pesticide license. And then I did a public records training just to help with cohesiveness between our department and City Hall when we do have a records request. And managing many others. A couple of goals that we have moving forward. We really like to address our permit costs. This has been an ongoing problem. We want to make sure that we're adequately compensated for each project and that liability is dispersed appropriately. For the cemetery, we do have one section that has not yet been modded off, and as we're filling capacity, we want to go ahead and get that lined and start sales in that area. And then a problem that we've got a lot of feedback on is our stormwater. It's going to be a very long, challenging task, but we started researching different grants and funding options, to try to get that under control for, our residents and what we can do versus what is their responsibility. And then we want to work closely with the other departments, so, in the Esri mapping program that we have, it can be utilized by all parties. Some of the potential data that we can include from those other departments are fire hydrant maintenance, dangerous intersections, or high accident areas, and we'll be able to fully reporting on this as well. And that's all I have. Any questions?
What's the feedback been on the abandoned lines? Have we gotten any taken down yet, or?
I haven't heard of anything yet. The only that I've had since we've done that is Enbridge, and there's new connections.
That is more of a driver to get the underground utilities. Because if they're left in there and they're not active, they don't get marked, you figure out the date and you hit them, you can't figure out what you said. I got a question for you. You were mentioning the reimbursements from car accidents and stuff like that. How do you guys draft your bill, if you will, that you're going to give to the insurance companies? Do you guys actually charge them actual cost, or do you guys have some fees set aside that you charge them? And the reason I'm asking is what I've seen is a lot of the insurance companies will try to give you a depreciated value on guardrail signs and stuff like that. And there's things you can do to kind of anticipate that and offset those costs, so we're actually getting our costs back. Because to me, a guardrail, whether it's 5 years old or 10 years old, if it's still good, it doesn't make any difference if it's new or it's 10 years old. It's still doing its job. And when they try to depreciate that, we're ended up eating the cost on that.
That we've only had one time that a company actually fought it, and it was a very large scale accident. Aside from that, I haven't had any pushback on the depreciated value. What I use for our rates and the equipment is ODOT has a standard, so we just rely exactly what ODOT does, so that the fees are the same across the board, and then our labor is set.
And you mentioned starting to get assets located and mapping and stuff. We're doing that with GIS. So you guys have like a trim or something to go out there and mark the stuff with?
Yes, we have that out. Once weather breaks, we'll be about ready from all of the behind the scenes mapping. We have to run a scanner, and physically scan in all of the maps that were up here and down there. So we do have a GIS intern who's part-time, and he has been, I cannot even explain how beneficial he has been. He has taken on a lot, and he does a fantastic job. He's also assisting Sony with their maps. But once we get everything in, then we're going to use that out satellite.
Last thing is, one of the calls I probably get, I don't say the most, but is people asking about culvert replacement. And I know we've had a backlog on those. Is there something council can do, or is something that we can do to help with that? Maybe freeze those or whatever, just to help you get caught up? Is there potential, do we bring in a contractor to help? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
So we do allow contractors to do the work. It's something that we try to do, and we do offer. When I have people call that have been on that wait list for a while, I let them know that that is an option, but then they take on that cost. It really is something that we do as a courtesy. Like I said, they got through 50 last year, and hopefully we'll get back on those. We made some progress. So I think we're getting a lot closer. I've talked to quite a few people that are on the list and explained, what the program is, and they've been pretty understanding. I know you said you've still gotten some.
Yeah, they just stay inquired. And you mentioned, I thought, did you get through 50 ditch eliminations or 50 culverts? I thought you mentioned.
Yes.
So it's just like a standard driveway culvert. You consider that a ditch elimination?
No, that's a whole separate.
Okay.
That's a whole separate.
Yeah.
This is just cosmetic. That is what our list is for. If there's actually a structural concern or a safety concern,
Move those
we're
up.
able to, we're able to.
And I don't think there's a backlog on the driveway pipes, I don't think, we get those pretty quick, just as they come. Or as weather, sometimes they collapse up in the middle of winter, you just can't do that until spring, but we get on it pretty quick.
Thanks.
Just one, zoning wasn't able to be here, but just one thing we're working on, like they said, the permit fees and things like that. Something else important we've discussed is inspections on our right of ways, making sure the work that we're being told and being charged to be done is actually being done the proper way to eliminate future problems, roads breaking down, whatever the case may be. We've got fiber coming in different areas. We just want to make sure that nobody's cutting corners, and we're not going to take on that cost. We're going to pass that along to the contractors like most other communities around us are doing. So that's really one of the other things we'll be working through this year as well. Make sure we get that up to snuff.
Well, please tell the guys thank you for all the work over this past. It's been very challenging.
Oh, they did a good job.
Thanks, guys. And now Stephanie from HR. I would never say. I didn't say fine. Look at that.
I wasn't allowed to ask for any more employees for my department, so.
We're supposed to say that out loud.
So I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak this evening as I recently celebrated my 1-year anniversary with the city. It's been a year of growth, learning, and connection. Over the past 12 months, I focused on really understanding my role so I can contribute to my highest level. One of the things I valued most this year has been the chance to build a strong relationship with each department. Getting to know the teams, their needs, and their unique work they do has been incredibly rewarding. I've especially appreciated being a part of each department's hiring process, where I've had the opportunity of helping bring in 17 new city employees. It's been an honor to contribute to bringing in a strong and capable workforce that will continue shaping the future of the community. Along with building relationships, I focused on professional growth and actively contributing to the organization. Over the past year, I've attended SSI VIP training conferences, participated in workers' comp breakfasts, attended the KWW yearly legal update seminar to stay informed on current laws and best practices. I've also completed the Ohio Sunshine Law fraud ethics training to strengthen my knowledge in transparency, compliance, and ethical responsibilities for public service. In addition, I had the opportunity to serve as the secretary to the PAAB, further expanding my involvement with the city operations. Throughout the year, I've also successfully completed processing 20 payrolls, ensuring accuracy and consistency for our employees. Additionally, I implemented a discount gym membership for the city employees as another way to support and invest in people who serve our community. Looking ahead, I plan to earn my Society for Human Resource Management certification this year. This will further strengthen my experience in HR and ensure I am equipped with the latest knowledge and best practices. After that, I plan to pursue my certification through the Public Sector HR Association. This will deepen my knowledge for the public sector, human resource, and help it better serve my unique needs to the city employees. Supporting and boosting employees' morale is another top priority for me. I believe that employees who feel valued, supported, and heard, they perform at their highest potential. To foster this, I plan to promote employee appreciations, recognize milestones and achievements, and encourage peer-to-peer recognition. Organizing team gatherings, engagement events, and small celebrations will help strengthen relationships to create a sense of unity. I also want to support an open forum, regular feedback opportunities, and transparency communication so employees feel included and respected. By initially investing in our people, we can build a stronger and more motivated forum. As HR, I plan to review and update our current training processes over the coming year. My goal is to ensure all employees and management receive training they need to succeed. This includes upgrading programs that reflect current laws, best practices, workplace standards, as well as safety, skills development, leadership training, and ongoing learning opportunities like webinars, cross-training, and mentorship programs. By
by keeping our training current and relevant, we can ensure the workforce stays knowledgeable, compliant, and ready to meet the evolving needs of the organization and community. In closing, I want to sincerely thank the fire department, police department, and our service department, council, Mayor Adamson, and Mayor Rector, and last but not least, the administration team for all of your guidance and collaboration throughout the stress of this last first year. I am proud to be a part of this team, and I look forward to accomplishing together as we grow as a city. I know I'm a little bit different than all the other. Any questions?
I just thank you for all the help. You went above and beyond helping me when I had the insurance issues and transferred everything over, making all the phone calls you made to the doctors and everything else to make sure that my family was taken care of. I appreciate it.
My wife would like to pass that all up to you. Well, thank you guys. I don't want to give them a chance. They've been working all day. You guys don't have to stay unless you want to. You're more than welcome to.
My report.
Yeah, I was going to forget you. I apologize. Jeez, it was my fault. All right, go ahead, Sue. Sorry.
Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to address council and our residents regarding the services and accomplishments of the Finance and Administration Department. As a finance director, I'm proud to lead a small but highly dedicated team of ladies responsible for the collection, disbursement, and safeguarding of all city funds, as well as maintaining the records and procedures necessary to support these critical operations. Our department oversees a wide range of essential functions, including accounts receivable, accounts payable, payroll, liability insurance, health insurance, monthly financial reporting, preparation of the annual budget, and annual financial report, and records retention in accordance with the Records Commission. These responsibilities form the backbone of the city's financial integrity and transparency. Beyond financial management, our office serves as a daily point of contact for residents. Monday through Friday, we respond to calls and emails, accept in-person payments. In fact, it included 177 fingerprint payments. Thank you, Police Department. Assist with trash and recycling concerns, process permits, prepare resolutions, and support city events such as the annual Shredding Day and the Memorial Day Parade. In 2025 alone, the Shredding Day event resulted in the secure disposal of 8,290 pounds of documents for residents. We also provide ongoing support to all city departments and manage record retention and destruction processes. Additionally, we have assisted with updates to the personnel handbook and the new cybersecurity policy. Financially, to 2025 was another eventful year. The city's annual budget exceeded $19.7 million, encompassing all funds, departments, and grants. Our department received over $17 million in revenue and processed more than $15.5 million in expenditures. We also played a key role in administrating grant funding, successfully securing and managing substantial contributions for major infrastructure projects. These included $959,752 from the Rawlins Water Main Bundle EPA grant, $547,583.42 from the Ohio Department of Transportation funded Railroad Bridge Project, and $234,200 from the Ohio Public Works Commission for the Overture Way culvert replacement. So you know I didn't just do the acronym for it.
Thank you.
We also updated the city's investment policy to align with the current Ohio Revised Code standards to include all the approved types of municipal investment, with the exception of commercial paper. In 2025, we experienced $273,513.24 in interest earnings on the city's accounts. As the city's designated income tax liaison, I work closely with Rita to support tax collection and serve as a contact to assist residents. Over the past year, I have personally assisted more than 87 residents who had problems with penalty and interest abatement requests, and helping them to bring their accounts into good standing. Professional development remains a priority for both myself and our staff, has always been. I I completed my yearly required training through the Ohio Association of Public Treasurers, which is a branch of the Association of Public Treasurers of the United States and Canada, through which I received my certification as a public finance administrator. I also completed training classes through the United States EPA concerning financial management and internal controls for EPA grants. In addition, as Stephanie said, she and I attended the annual Software Solutions Workshop and the KWW Law Update Seminars. Staff training has also been a key focus. I coordinated initial VIP financial and payroll training through Software Solutions for our newer team members, and I personally trained them in the city's accounts, payable, processing procedures. Additionally, I trained the newest member, Stephanie, of our team on the processing of payroll, procedures for onboarding new employees, human resource functions, and year-end reporting. While still growing in her role, she has demonstrated dedication and professionalism and has become an integral part of our team. Looking ahead, we're committed to expanding training opportunities tailored to our responsibilities, improving accessibility to financial information for residents, and strengthening fraud prevention measures to safeguard public funds. While our monthly financial reports are already available online, we will continue working to make financial data more transparent and user-friendly. The Finance and Administration Department remains committed to serving the community with diligence and integrity. Our continued excellence is reflected in the city's 5 Auditor of State awards, and we will strive to uphold these standards in the years to come. Thanks.
I would also like to add, Sue has something with you. Many of the infinite amount of acronyms that are involved in government is shocking, and I almost feel there should be a department just to update and keep that straight, because it is a little bit overwhelming, and also helping me through, especially through these funding requests as I've gotten started here. Just help me navigate some of those processes and where we're at, where we're going, and kind of through that process. So, thank you.
And thank you to each one of you for the work that you do for the city, and please extend that to all of your members of your staff that you work with in the departments. We appreciate what you do for the city. Amen.
And I want to thank you all for coming and doing this. I know that you're most comfortable in front of people speaking, but you provide a lot of insight that we don't normally see, that citizens don't normally see, as to what your job is, and something as simple as having putting the life jackets in the cruisers. Nobody would know that, but being able to share that information and share all the training that takes place and everything that we're doing to help the city, and I appreciate you guys coming in and doing this because, again, I realize it's not the most comfortable thing for you to do, but it provides a lot of information, not just for us, but for the citizens. Again, a lot of stuff that we wouldn't normally hear. So appreciate it, and as Mr. Schaefer said, we really thank you and all your staff for what everyone does to help the city. So thanks again for coming out. And I'm sorry to keep you working overtime today. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
I know you're all going to leave, so go ahead.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, at this point, I guess we'll go ahead and start with our committee meetings, streets and drainage, Mr. Alman.
Thank you. We open up the Streets and Drainage Committee at 6:09 p.m., starting with resolution number 26R09, a resolution awarding a bid to North Star Asphalt Incorporated for the Cleveland Madison Road Phase 3 resurfacing project and declaring an emergency. We got 9 bids, even though the paper says 7. There's 9 bids under the 7, which I thought was fun enough to notice out. We got a bunch of good bids. North Star came in the cheapest. Our consulting firm GPG Group advised we go with the cheapest bid as well on the Phase 3 resurfacing project. I was going to ask the mayor anything else to add upon that, because he didn't know room in those costs at all.
No, I mean, North Star, reputable company, been doing worked for us in the past, and ideally what would happen is, we just opened up the bidding for the State Route 93 sewer extension project that ODOT has agreed to move up. It would be great to, since everything's already here and staged, that maybe we can save money, and if the budget allows, we ought to sneak in an extra road or two that we didn't think we'd be able to do. Can't predict the future, but that's our hope moving forward throughout this year as we do these projects, so. That's about all I have.
That's good. So it's like looking good that we may be able to sneak some more roads in there with ODOT.
We're hoping. We're hoping. We don't know yet, but we're hoping. And, we provide some lists, and then we have our alternates in case that opportunity comes up. We're ready to go, if that's the case.
Mayor, one thing I wanted to ask is, in the past, over the last few years, we've started adding a contingency to the amount. I know this is not something that I'm seeing that's, basically awarding this at a certain dollar amount. But do we want to add a contingency in there? Where that comes into play is if they're out there paving and they find a full depth repair or something that wasn't in the scope. This allows them to do that repair instead of pausing the program, coming back and getting permission, and then going back and doing the work.
Yeah, I would check, and GPD is the one handling that, but I will check with them and see if that's something we need to do there. You can see that a little there.
No, but sometimes he builds it in
Without the detail there.
within the bid packet, so I would have to ask him to know whether he had done that or not.
Yeah, so I guess that was my question, because I didn't see anything in here. I didn't know if that price included a contingency or if we needed to.
He has done that before with certain ones, we have to ask him.
And that's what I was asking.
I feel like I did see it in there, but I don't want to say for sure.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're covering our guys, and it just makes it more efficient.
For sure. I'll follow up with
Yeah, because sometimes like the Akron League releases are posted, I see the contingency cooked into the price, or like cooked into like how you're going to bid on it as part of it. So without that, should we hold off on this resolution? Or are you confident that it's in there?
I'm pretty confident it's in there. But then it's completely up to you guys. I know.
We can pass it, you can always come back and ask for an amendment of this resolution.
Yeah, we
can
can do something like that, but
Because we need to get them booked for the.
Yeah, that's
that's what we say. I feel comfortable with that, and even if there's a contingency cooked into it, it's nothing bad. So.
yeah, but I'll follow up with you on that, just so everybody's on the same page there.
Anything else on resolution 26R09? Wonderful. We also have resolution number 26R12, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a cooperative funding intergovernmental agreement with the County of Summit's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services to fund the State Route 93 Sewer Extension Project, Project Q834-2E, and declaring an emergency. I kind of get it from reading over it. There's a lot more nuance that I don't know over this. I'm going to turn it over to you, Mayor.
So this is basically entering into our agreement with the county to make sure we are reimbursed for the funds that are going to be involved with this project. I know there's a lot of nuances to it, but as far as that goes, it's pretty cut and dry on that. County's been a great partner for us. I had our law director review this agreement to make sure, because this is one of the first ones I had ever done, so I just wanted to make sure we were covered there in all aspects, and there were nothing to catch us, off guard. I talked with Sue about it some. We bounced it around I probably could have had this out a meeting or two ago, but I just wanted to make sure I had all my I's dotted and T's crossed.
Yeah, so what I got from it is basically like we'll put the pipe in the road, and then we'll transfer the pipe ownership over to the county, and the county will reimburse us up to $385,000, I believe. Is that what it was? Yeah. So it's always so simple to read the first time. There's probably something else I missed in it, but that's what I got from it.
Yeah, and again, with me being new, I just wanted to make sure we had that right. Former Mayor Adams has written a lot of these in the past, and I I'm not an attorney, so I want to make sure I use our term.
We're good.
I'm not supposed to do that, so. But yeah, I'm comfortable that all the language is good on that regard.
Everybody else on the council comfortable with this resolution? Wonderful. We will close the Streets and Drainage Committee at 7:15 p.m.
We move on to the Public Utilities Committee, Mr. Powell.
Looking at the Public Utilities Committee at 7:15. We have a resolution here to extend the New Franklin citywide solid waste recycling services contract, Public Services of Ohio Hauling LLC, for the collection and removal of residential recyclables, refuse, and waste materials in the city of New Franklin and declaring an emergency. Is this a piggyback on green? Did we-
Correct.
Okay. And so they
Extension of the piggyback, yes.
Okay. I have experience at work. I operate a opt-in program, which this is an aggregate program, which is a better deal. I was comparing prices with information that I got just recently. We were getting a pretty good deal. We're actually cheaper than prices I was able to secure for an opt-in program. I didn't think it was a bad deal. I went and looked at some other retailers, service providers, and these prices were well under other offerings. To the extent of waste management, I think it was $7 a month higher. So
I did the same thing. In our county, we are in the lower third as far as cost. I do not like, obviously, the double-digit percentage increase from the ending to the extension of this contract. I asked not to take that increase. They declined. The danger in going up to bid, I felt, was unfortunately, Ohio law does not permit us to solicit bids, and then if we're unsatisfied, proceed with the piggyback option. And I didn't want to leave us exposed in that way. The reason I decided to go with the 5-year instead of the 3-year when we're under the contract, it's about a 3.5% jump each year versus when they seem to get us at the end is when they hit us with the double digit. Going back to 2022, I believe it was about the same double-digit percentage jump there too. I pressed the guy from Republic on why there's a slight difference with green, even though the terms and conditions are the same, and their explanation was with green, the roads are newer, they get up and down the roads a little more efficiently. We have actually more volume with New Franklin, according to Republic, and some of our roads around the lakes and things like that are tougher to navigate. And I know I even called Coventry to see where they're at, because they're back as well, and they had done some of their own research, and it kind of come to the same conclusion that you did with it.
yeah, I didn't feel this was a bad deal, especially looking out 5 years. And then if you figure 2 to 3% increase, which is pretty standard, that double digit falls right under the 5-year contract.
Yeah, I'm not very trusting in my own personal private life of trash companies, and so I just kind of wanted to, which is why I have paper spread everywhere here. I just wanted to be sure we were getting the best deal possible, and we've been going back and forth. She was involved with this, so she knows the history of it, and I know there's been complaints and things like that during there, but it doesn't seem like there's a plethora of it where we're getting calls every day or anything like that. And they seem to have addressed some of them when we've called. I mean, it's not perfect by any stretch, but it didn't warrant a change or going out to bid at this time that I felt. Another thing is, if we did switch providers, you got new routes, new drivers, new bins, collecting old bins. And again, if there had been something to really push that, they are failing miserably all over the place, I would have had no problem doing that. I have no allegiance to Republic, but I just didn't find that. And looking over it, we tried to squeeze them best we could. We did not do a really good job doing that, even though I all I can say is no. So I asked anyone. And this is kind of where we came out at on that.
I think they gave us a good price to start with, and that may be why you couldn't squeeze any more out of them.
It felt that way because they were not interested in playing ball too much. But my dad would always ask, so I figured, I almost brought him to the table, but then I figured we'd have no trash service. By that time we'd be done. And so that's why, again, I waited 3 year versus the 5 year. I just didn't want to give them another chance in 3 years to bump us double digit, because we stuck there, so.
I would like to say too that if there are people, residents out there that have problems with their trash collection or if it's missed or something, if they would call into our office, we do have a contact that we go to from Republic.
Is that Brent or Terry?
Brent comes out a lot, but it's basically a phone number that we call, and they do assist people and get things handled. So we've had really good, good responses from them on calls that we've made. So I just kind of want to let people know that if you do have a problem, we can act as a liaison and help, get that, whatever the problem is, situated for you.
If there's a hardship, anything like that, even if somebody say had an injury and can't get their trash to the curb for a couple months, they will step up and help us out in that regard. So, and Terry is retiring again at the end of this month, and he seemed pretty like a solid guy,
Terry's always been great to work with. I know he brought Brent in. He didn't say he was retiring though.
Oh,
But
okay.
there's more on his plate than.
Now, we talked about this extensively while he was here.
Yes, we did. And he, like I said, he seemed kind of no nonsense and
Terry's always been great to work
had
with.
good references and those sorts of things. So
Do you know if there's a fuel surcharge on the bill?
there
The
were,
reason I ask is I've got two different accounts.
okay.
One of them's been established for some time, and there's no fuel surcharge on it. Another one's fairly newer, and there's a fuel surcharge on it. And I called and talked to them. They said there was a change in the agreement or something. I wasn't aware of that, but it's nominal, but I figured I'd ask.
I think there is a fuel surcharge, and I've asked to get rid of that too, but they don't seem to be too keen on that either. Like any trucking company or anything like that, they
Cost of business.
yeah, unfortunately.
And I think it works in a specific way because they do, I think it's like, it may not be quarterly, but every few months they check. And if the price of their fuel is higher than their minimum, that's when you get zapped with that fuel charge.
Sometimes they use like a $3 or $4, and it's over
Yeah.
that, and they
Yeah.
surcharge.
So it's not that they always put it on there, but they are always monitoring that. And I think that came out in the previous contract.
If they check the 3-month average, and if it's over $4 a gallon, that's when they apply the fuel charge. And then when the fuel price gets below $4 a gallon for a 3-month period, then they take it off.
Anybody have any questions? You guys okay waiving 3? All right, with that, I will close the public utilities at 7:23.
All right, Safety Committee, Mrs. Jones?
Thank you. Resolution 26R11, a resolution to establish fees for fingerprinting services performed by the New Franklin Police Department and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. And I asked Dan to stay just to see if there's anything you want to say about this, Dan. I called a few places, and I think our pricing is very good, what they want to go up to.
Yeah, this is an optional service that we do. We don't have to do. This is just-
A lot of cities are stopping it.
Yeah, we're one of the few that's in the country that still do it.
Mhm.
This is just for civilian background checks for school teachers, nurses, doctors that can come in here. It's required by their employers. The current fees we charge now is exactly what we have to pay to say to set them off. So that's not taking into account the equipment we have to use. And Stephen was here earlier, he came in 2 weeks ago, said we need to update his computer with the scanners to the tune of about $4,000 or $5,000. So this price increase will just help cover the cost of actually the price. We're still not going to be making any money on this. This is just still breaking even.
And basically what we're doing is we're raising the price to $40 for residents.
Correct.
And if you get the two, together the FBI and DCI, it's going to be $80. And for non-residents, it's $50 for each.
Right.
And then for the two together would be $100. But for everyone that I called and checked on, it was really, this was a good price. And as I said, so many places are just not doing it at all.
Yeah, it's kind of gone to the way of private companies doing this now.
I did check with a private company and their price sounded lower, but most people get the two together.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason where they make up on it, they charge a little bit more for the two together.
We haven't taken an increase since 2018 on this.
Right.
And that's not taken into account, I think it takes about a half hour of labor, so to speak, to process and do all that. I think we found that people from other communities were coming down to do it here because it was more inexpensive to come to New Franklin to do it.
It's about 50-50 as far as New
Right.
Franklin and stuff.
And most people are not doing it at all.
They should be able to do,
Okay.
And it is like any business, like you were talking about, even the rubbish business, you have to take into effect everything you have involved in that. And paying your employee to do that is one of the main things, and the equipment.
Well, that equipment upgrade too, I want to try to at least cover.
So I think we should go ahead and do this if everybody's in agreement with it, waive the 3. And Danny, I'm sorry, I asked you to wait, I just wanted to make sure. But I'd like to waive the 3, if that's okay with me.
He likes speaking publicly.
Well, that was really sweet of him, because it takes his time away from his family, and I didn't want to do that, but I appreciate it, thank you.
They're fine with it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Chief.
I would like to make a motion, I would like to say that I'd like to waive the 3 on this, and everybody's in agreement with that. And I'm going to end the meeting at 7:26.
Okay, then move to Laws and Ordinance Committee, Mr. Wolf.
I'd like to open the Laws and Ordinance Committee meeting at 7:26 p.m. We have ordinance number 26002, an ordinance providing for the regulation of short-term rental operations. I'll turn it over to our sponsors.
All right, thank you. So I'll start off by saying we started this journey over the summer. There's been a lot of work put into this. I want to thank Mr. Ullman, Mr. Wolf, Mr. Stiles. They've put in a lot of research, a lot of discussions back and forth. They put together a document that was pretty much there. I mean, a few of us had some concerns about a few other things, and we had a lot of discussion back and forth on it. And that kind of prompted me to look at this. I talked with a few members of the council. We come up with a revised version of what they had. And essentially, it's the same version they had with a small adder to it. We added in a section under, actually, we added in an item under section 3, if I remember correctly. Section 4. 4K. And that's actually 4K. And what the language reads is we put in a distance specification in there. So K reads, short-term rentals shall not be located within 300 feet of an existing currently permitted short-term rental. The measurement shall be from the closest property line or of the currently permitted short-term rental to the closest property line of the property that is applying. I know we've had a lot of discussion on this. I know we've talked about property owners' rights. We've talked about a whole bunch of reasons why this may not fit in here, but I think about our zoning codes. In our zoning codes, 90 to 95% of them tell us what we can and can't do with our property. I can't have a sign in my front yard if I have a business if it's a certain size. I can't park my boat or my RV or something in certain parts of my yard because the zoning code tells me I can't. This is just one more thing in the zoning code that kind of fills into that. And what it does, it helps preserve the charm and the character of our neighborhoods and stuff. I know there's been some discussion back and forth about our intentions up here, and maybe we have certain intentions and everything. I think everybody up here is up here for the right reasons. I think everybody is up here because they care about the community, and they're doing what they feel is best in their mind. And that they've got their own reasons. So I don't think anybody has a predetermined reason to do certain things. I think we all just have different thoughts. We all bring different experiences and qualities to council. So once again, I think everybody's up here for the right reasons, and everyone's doing their decisions for the right reasons. I think some of us just look at things differently. So with that, I'll turn that over to if anybody has any comments, questions on this.
I have a comment, I just have, just for the record, this has been a long journey. I've listened to our residents, I see and I understand their concern. My concern with the 300-foot rule is that it is not equal for everybody. Once one property owner gets there, then it changes for the next people in that 300-foot. That's the only reason I'm against the 300-foot rule. All other zoning codes and ordinance, they are applied equally to all our residents. And that would be the only reason I would be against it. I do understand the concern. I think a lot of the other rules that are in there can be applied to everybody and take care of those concerns. But that would be my concern.
Yeah, I think I would, if everybody could indulge me in this committee meeting, I'm gonna turn the projector on for a second. I got something, I think that would highlight one of the issues I have a little bit better than I can describe in words. And, the USBC.
No, it's in the box, but ask Robert.
Robert, do we have a USB-C to an HDMI?
Pardon me?
Do we have a USB-C to an HDMI?
Yeah.
An adapter.
Connection to the connection, but I don't know unless it's enough.
You don't even need the little roll down thing anymore, it just works in the wall.
I'm sorry, Deb, I didn't know you were gonna do that, I would have had that.
We don't even need it. Like,
No.
why would you?
Yeah, well, eventually it's not.
It will be.
I printed out these, what I'm gonna show on the screen, I printed them out, but unfortunately the printer didn't want to do color. It's kind of hard to see what I'm trying to get to the point to because the lines and the font color of the distance is the same color as the grass. So that didn't really work out. It's rubber foils. I'd like to say that, I'm going to go a little bit with what Barry was saying, is the equality aspect of enforcement of rules. Nobody can have a sign in Franklin, that's one of the rules. Nobody can have a sign, but, an ordinance is a big thing, it's a law. And it's a punishment when you break that law. It's a violation, it's a fine. No prison time with this, but it's a fine. And the biggest thing is I like to charge people and diminish their rights when they are committing a bad act. Not to diminish their right to their property when their neighbor is doing something. I like to focus my legislative intent on the bad actor, not on the unwillful neighbor who now loses property rights because of another neighbor's lawful use. So the incorporation of 300-foot rule no longer targets just the property owner, it now targets the neighbors. Which is now furthering the extension of who is now unprivileged to the same extent. Now, I understand the aspects of, short-term rentals and the aspect of, community prosperity and stuff. But, it really becomes more of a line between what an HOA is and what zoning laws are incorporated for. Zoning laws are a basic minimum that protect everybody's rights and protect rights to keep people living peacefully more together. And the conduct rules already resolve that issue. The bad conduct from the one neighbor is punished because it punishes the neighbor next to them. A 300-foot rule punishes you just because you have a neighbor who does something on their property. It's not fair. It's not equal. If we don't have a USB-C, it doesn't make sense. I guess everybody has a black and white paper that kind of has something drawn on it. But what I was getting at is the measurement from the closest property line to each property. I did a little quick research using the Summit County GIS system, which is the Summit County's Geographical Information System, which shows us, I'm going to steal one. Let me shut the light off. Yeah, we can do that because I have one. Sorry, everybody. Which shows us that there are houses, not even the min-maxing of corners of property, there are houses that are over half a mile apart that cannot have short-term rentals under this rule. So if the real rule is to, be proper and equal about spacing, there's properties that are, long and narrow, that because one person has a short-term rental, there's now about a couple dozens of properties that are adjacent, abutting to that property that are no longer to have short-term rentals.
I'm sorry, excuse you, but you got
Really close to
you
it.
have one leg over this edge, so,
And-
sorry.
And, because of that, we have houses that are over half a mile apart that now can't be a short-term rental. And if I was to, go to the extreme lengths of going from one end of the property to the other end of the property, you now can have short-term rentals that are over a mile apart because of the measurement of property line to property line. So, that's the real issue I have here, is that it's not equally enforced. It's enforcing against neighbors who are doing nothing wrong at all. So, at the end of the day, any law like the past, especially when it's a crime, I like to punish the doer, not the innocent bystander. So, that's all I really have to say, the 300-foot rule. And I guess I'll continue a little bit, at least with ordinance 25004, an ordinance providing for the regulation of short-term rental operations, is that because it doesn't have that aspect of it, it only charges the wrongdoer, it's truly fair and equal. And every single issue that I've heard is conduct that would have been prohibited under this resolution. So, that is all I have to say.
That's what, I guess, one add on to your point, it's a conditional permit. So if we have somebody that's doing something that is a problem, we can take it away, take it back. But on a different note, I did my neighborhood, my house here, and Sue was kind enough to help me with these. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. But so it's on the exact opposite. He has a large property, as an example here, and all these other properties are around it. Mine mine are all, there's 9 properties on my street. The developer made them exactly 100 feet wide. So, that's so, here, I'll send them down. No, I think, no, you can send that.
Well, you can attempt to look at this one. That's the hard one.
Okay.
I can email you the color version of it.
Okay. So, for whatever it's worth, I'm property number 2 on that map. And I wish the other folks, we were going to put this up on the screen. So what would happen is, I don't know if I should say it, but we have a real estate broker in property number 4. Can you get some there? If property 4 decides to do that, it's going to get rid of everybody's opportunity. I plan on retiring in a couple of years. I'm not saying I want to be a short-term landlord, but I won't have that opportunity. So what I'll have to do, just to maybe if I want to do it, is pay $500 a year for the next 2 years, pay $1,000, because then my property is more valuable. I mean, because I'll corner the market on this property. And then I have to beat my neighbors down here on January 1st. I don't know if I can come in the back door, if that's legal, and get in line first, or, I just think it's ridiculous that we're having to first come, first serve. It's not fair. I don't want to belabor the point that these guys have. There's no other zoning law with somebody that has the exact same type of zoning that their neighbor can do it and this neighbor can't. It doesn't make sense to me. And even the original legislation 25004, I was hesitantly for that. There are things in there I think is still overreach, but I didn't want, perfect be the enemy of good. But I think everybody knows I'm out at 300. It may not help, but it's unfair. And I will hold counsel just, only will hold you responsible for all lawsuits that we're about to come on because of somebody like this that comes on. We're opening ourselves up. We have 0 lawsuits right now. We've stayed out of the game. Maybe we were supposed to. Some people feel we should. We're not doing our job by having legislation and addressing this. But we also have to be good stewards of the city's money. And I feel that we know this. It's not that I feel, we know neighboring communities, every single lawsuit, the law directors, they love it. They love it. It's more billable hours for them. There are lawsuits, it's going to cost money, and we don't have a lot of it. So it's a financial thing, it's a fairness thing, it's a conditional permit. We should be able to do this, and if it gets out of hand, we can pull these back for legitimate reasons. I mean, if somebody's misbehaving or doing something. So I guess I'm done with that. If there's any other comments or questions.
I'll just say that I think, like you mentioned, we look at things a couple different ways. And for me, using your property thing here, you have the opportunity with your neighborhood where you could have 4 or 5 short-term rentals in your neighborhood out of the 9 properties that you have listed here. So you no longer have the neighborhood. And I think that's what's important, is being able to maintain the neighborhood. We get into, especially lakefront homes that are closer together. You have 5 or 6 short-term rentals within a small space. There's no neighborhood anymore. And so the residents that live there, that have lived there for a long time, that or possibly looking to move into an area where there's a neighborhood, where there's a family, not just within their house, but a family within the neighborhood. And that's important. And if we allow the short-term rental operations to happen haphazardly as such, it takes that away. And I think that's what the purpose of the 300-foot rule is. Sure, the original ordinance that was proposed, and that this one also takes care of, if there's issues, if there's problems, if there's problems, that'll be taken care of. But even if there's not any problems, even if every short-term rental operation was fantastic, you still don't have somebody that's part of the neighborhood. You don't, the operator doesn't live in the neighborhood. The operator, their property becomes very sterile. It's not, they're not at barbecues. They're not, and it diminishes the neighborhood. And I think that's what's important is that we have to safeguard the community. And we safeguard the community in many different ways, whether it's with bad actors that are doing it, or whether it's preventing a plethora of short-term rentals in a small area. My neighborhood, as an example, my short-term rentals, for the most part, would be along the lake where there's demand, 10 or 12 houses. Right now, we all get together, we have neighborhood parties, we have neighborhood events, and we all know each other, and my son knows everybody in the neighborhood, every dog. He knows where they're going on vacation and when they'll be back, and that's part of the neighborhood. That's part of that group. But if 5, 6, 7 of those houses become short-term rentals, then you lose that. You don't have those people as part of the neighborhood, and then it starts to split the neighborhood apart. And I think we have to be good financially, make good sense financially, but we also have to look at what's best for our community, what's best for our residents, what's best for our neighborhood. The ordinance takes care of the bad actors. If there's a problem, it takes care of them. But with the proposed ordinance 26002, it protects the neighborhood. And I think that's what's most important, is being able to provide that.
So 22 years we've been a city. We've not had to have this. We've not had any problems. I got an email from the chief of police, and the officer Zampelli, Lieutenant Zampelli did all the homework. Very, very limited issues. Explain so for me, if I believe house in my own opinion, so right now all 9 of us could do this, right? Right now we could do it and hurry up quickly, right, to get it done. We're not, right, because we don't have to. I think it's going to, I don't think it's going to change a lot. Anyway, but you have limited me, so I just want to have that option for myself. I may or may not, probably most likely won't, but I know if this goes in and lot number 4 does it, everyone else is out. Every single house on our street is out because lot 4 did it. So once again, 4 gets special privileges that 1 through 9 don't. How do you round that? That's the way it goes? They were first to the game?
Well, that's again, you can look at it that way if you want to, and you brought up about problems with the short-term rentals. But again, for me, the 300-foot rule is not about problems. It's about maintaining the sense of neighborhood, which I think is very important. So yes, we've been lucky with our short-term rentals where we haven't had major issues throughout the years or police-involved issues. And that's where this ordinance takes care of those, as has been said, bad actors as such. Where somebody is creating a problem, whether there are 3 or 4 houses in a row that are short-term rentals, and the one in the middle is causing problems. There's an opportunity to take that away. What the 300-foot rule prevents
Well-behaved?
No. Again, we're separate. Yeah, there's a different way of looking at it. I think it prevents somebody from coming into a neighborhood and buying a property specifically to make it a short-term rental when there's buffers to prevent that from happening. So it prevents a neighborhood that has 5 or 6 houses on the waterfront from turning those 5 or 6 houses into short-term rentals that are currently not short-term rentals. And it helps to protect the neighborhood in a sense of neighborhood. If there's a problem with a short-term rental, wherever it is, then that's where this ordinance helps take care of those both bad actors. But if current homeowners wish to eventually become a short-term rental operation, well, that's a different thing. And unfortunately, sometimes things happen that not every law ordinance is perfect. But for me, again,
once again, the whole situation with BAT. They had that, and still bad things happen.
Sure.
So by legislating something,
Yeah, that was an enforcement issue.
problems are not, just by us writing something down and saying it, I just don't think that, once again, if it becomes a problem, I'm sort of, and I wasn't there last time, but I'm sort of where Devin is as I digest this, which is, what's wrong with having what we have now, and then all of a sudden, if we see 2 or 3 coming in, that we come in and put a more restrictive thing on it? Like, why do we have to start with the most strict thing and go away?
You can do a variance too, right?
I don't know.
You can only ask for variance for any zoning law.
Yeah, so even with the large scale property like it's presented on here, depending upon how many are in the area, variance could be done.
So because your neighbor does something, you have to come in front of the BZA and ask for an excuse to be able to do something? The biggest thing is
Integrity of the neighborhood.
integrity of the neighborhood, okay. So the community is built on the people that's there, right? It's going to barbecues and everything like that and knowing one another, right? That's community. So it's a criminal act to be a recluse in your house. We're forcing you to act a certain way. You want a community, you have to act the way we want you to. You're forcing that. That is forcing an HOA level policy on people. That is not the approach. That is not the limited approach to the city of New Franklin people when they want small government, they want less rules, and they want to be left alone. They want to be left alone to do what they want on their property. And I can tell you for sure they don't want bad conduct of their neighbors, which is what we drive at.
I think, once again, and like I said in my opening comments, I think we're all wanting the same, we all want what's best, we feel for New Franklin.
No.
And I think just some of us have different visions of how that maybe plays out. And I know some people would like to have no short-term rentals at all. And some people want no short-term regulation at all.
Some people want no purple houses, and no metal roofs, they form an HOA.
Right, but.
And only certain types of bushes and trees. I interrupted, I apologize.
So I guess my view of that 300 foot is it's kind of a happy medium. It's not that we're completely cutting short-term rentals out, but it is putting some binders on what can be done. And I don't think there's a problem with somebody who lives in a house and wants to go to Florida for the winter and short-term rental their house. I don't see that as being a problem. I don't know that anybody would, I don't know your neighbors would turn you in if you were doing that. I think the problem that I see is if the investor buys a property for the sole purpose of being a short-term rental, now we've taken that person out of the house, we've lost any income tax, so that person works remotely or whatever, you could potentially get income tax from that. We've lost some of the character of having a neighbor to know that maybe looks at your house when you're in Florida. So there's some of those things that you can't really put a tangible, you can't put a price on. You can't put a dollar amount to what that is worth. The 300 foot, how I came up with the 300 foot is our neighbor community has that same language in it. So I figured, the properties that are really driving this are lakefront properties. Coventry has, not as much as us, but they have a lot of lakefront properties. And if they're really enforcing that on their end, it kind of keeps it symmetric for the remainder of that shoreline. So that's why I came up with the 300 foot. It's basically dovetailing on what they've done.
Any other comments? Nothing? All right, so I just sort of combined both of those.
Yes.
The 25 ordinance onto that. So I'm going to close out the,
Before you do, real quick, will you be asking to waive the 3 readings on the 26002 or take
does anybody need any time? I'm good.
Like I said, the language is all the same that you've seen, it's just that one addition to the.
I see no reason to waive. Correct, so I would ask that we waive the 3. Is that okay? For 26002.
You don't have to wait after
Okay, we'll do that. We're going to close out the laws and ordinance committee meeting at 7:51.
All right, we will call to order our regular scheduled council meeting with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Cox?
Present.
Mr. Schaefer?
Present.
Mrs. Jones?
Present.
Mr. Powell?
Present.
Mr. Plessy?
Present.
Mr. Wolf?
Present.
Mr. Almond?
Present. We get a motion for approval of minutes from the regular scheduled meeting of March 4th, 2026.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Abstain.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
You have a motion for approval of the financials for February of 2026.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Same.
Financial.
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes. All right, this is the time for public comment. Please address council, state your name and address, and keep your comments to 4 minutes or under, please.
Mike Hoffman, 4123 Melcher Avenue. Thank you for Mr. Powell and Mr. Cluskey for putting forward this revision with the 300-foot rule consistent with Coventry, and for Mr. Cox and Ms. Jones also in favor of it. I think that part of the issue is those that don't live by one, and part of the reason I think, Mr. Wolf, that you haven't heard about issues is a lot of the short-term rentals have been semi-commercial areas. If you look like by Pier 619 and by Blue Iguana, where there's kind of a cluster of ones there, people kind of know that they're already living in this semi-commercial area. Now we're getting ones that are embedded into neighborhoods, as in our neighborhood, 5 feet, from the one there. So that's what's more problematic, to try to get out in front, of the issue. And really, we'll probably have 150 different people that have been 40 feet from us. We bought this house and invested this house in the lakefront. We're having 150 strangers over the year that are just coming and going. We don't know them. That's very close to our property, and there's going to be more that's going to happen in other ones. So I think that kind of putting a tourniquet on this to not have a whole neighborhood getting taken away, with the 300 foot is very important. Frankly, it's commercial property. It's in residential neighborhoods. So I know, Mr. Altman, I heard a lot of I statements in your
comment, but I think I'd rather hear what the citizens, what the average citizen would want. We're talking about 20 to 25 different investors for the most part that we're trying to defend versus 10,000 citizens and what they want next to them. So I understand, Mr. Schaefer, your comment about being fair and things like that. I asserted back 10 months ago, let's do what the other progressive communities did and ban short-term rentals. That's perfectly fair. Everybody's treated the same. We don't have them. Who wants a short-term rental next door to them? Nobody wants a short-term rental next door to them. So that would make it fair, and I would love to see us go back and reassess that. But in the meantime, I think this ordinance you put forward is a great short-term measure, and I hope it passes tonight. Thank you.
Any other comments? Go ahead, Shane. Go ahead.
Robert Ake, 1215 Center Road. I thought our ordinance, with all of its adjustments from the attorneys and all that, was going to be posted on the website for the residents to have a chance to look at before it would be passed. I looked today and I didn't.
Yeah, it's on.
Excuse me?
Just posted on it, yeah, I could.
No, I looked today for the revised ordinance from you, Mr. Almond.
They didn't put it on the agenda. It's on the city council page.
Yeah.
They notified me. But
I'm just saying that there should have been some type of notice to say, here's the revised one. If I missed it because it was off on some other page besides the main page of the website, because I would have liked to have seen the complete revision. I have the original, but there have been some edits done to it, some legalese put in, and just would have liked to have had an opportunity to see it.
It's been up there a few weeks now.
The original has been out there, but I have not seen the revised one that the attorney had reviewed. The language was modified and rescued. So that's just, if it was out there and I missed it, but it had to have been on a back page because I was out on the main page of the website today. The same thing, you talk about zoning code and it's enforcing zoning code. I can tell you from personal experience that the zoning code is not enforced. It's not related to short-term rentals, but the zoning code is not. I have called the zoning department on several issues. The most recent was last summer. An individual, my neighbor, has put a structure 6 feet within the property line. Zoning code says 10 feet. Called the zoning department and they said it's a civil matter. I have to get an attorney if I want to challenge this, but I've worked it out with my neighbor. Okay, that's what it is. But you're saying up here in a global statements that the zoning code is enforced, and it's not. And I know of others in the community, same thing, different type of issue with the zoning code and what's being violated, but it is not being 100%. And it has been stated in previous council meetings that if this issue came up, it would be a civil matter. Now, which is it? And so who's going to enforce this code? That came out when we were discussing what the attorney had said when they reviewed the document. Oh, we'll have to have some type of enforcement. They're not easily enforced. So I agree with Mr. Hoffman, and just no short-term rentals. We are a quiet community. We're going to build Main Street. We get that. Hopefully some of the revenues will come in from that. I understand that. But all in all, we are a unique community. We are rural. We're small little allotments. It's quite quaint. And our big event right now is the fireworks. And anybody who's gone to them, getting in and getting out, that's our big headache. And from the fire department and police department tonight, that's one of their stress issues. So do we really want to allow corporations to come in and start buying up our properties? Because they can easily get bought by somebody else and somebody else. That whole area where Mr. Hoffman is talking about is turning into Home City. You got the Water 9 project coming in, and you've got all of that development that's going to go on. This is only going to get worse if you start saying no. Just say no to these types of rentals. So I would just appreciate it if you can get that ordinance out there before you vote on it, because that was what was promised the last 2 meetings. Thank you.
Right, and that was, it looks like it was put on the 9th. It's under the council thing.
Where was it put at?
On the city website. under council. And it looks like it was, the date on the file was the 9th, March 9th.
I did not look on council because I looked at the agenda, because usually when you put legislation, new legislation on the agenda, there's a list of the documents that you're supporting. That's what the contracts were on for the sewer. I would have expected it there, and there was no notification on the main page to say, oh, go out and look at council, because we finally revised our document for the 11 months that it was been talked about. So, missed opportunity.
Well, from the incident last summer, would you mind, if you get a chance, sending me what you're talking about, and I can follow up on that, just to...
Well, it's a moot point now because the structure's been built and
I'm just saying,
worked it out, but I have an email from the zoning
Yeah.
administrator that said, they've been instructed by legal counsel not to be involved because the city zoning is not surveyed.
So do you feel confident with this legislation that's going to be coming? It's going to put more of a burden on the zoning department, the inspector, and that, how do you think that's going to work?
Oh,
All the short-term rentals, what do you think?
I think all short-term rentals should be banned from
I
our
understand
community.
that I don't think that's in front of the.
Partly because I worked in downtown Cleveland, I grew up in East Akron, I wanted a community away from all of it. I moved out here over 25 years ago because I wanted land and peace and quiet. So, with your question about zoning and or zoning department and or whatever department, I think it's gonna add a burden to our already stretched, very thin administration and enforcement. There's just, you keep adding on these things. You listen to the department heads tonight, and all of them are saying they're doing multiple jobs. They're just doing multiple jobs. We have a fireman, great that he stepped in and took care of the IT. That's great. That's everybody helping out everybody's administration. And we've added 17 people in our community, and our budget is 19 million. And it's grown from what? 8 million from 20 years ago? Something like that, 6 to 8 million. We keep growing and growing, our costs are increasing, right? And I agree with you, Mr. Wolf, that it's going to add and stretch more of our sources, and nothing's really been defined as to who's going to enforce it. You would have to either create something else, or have fire department, police department personnel, and from other areas to do inspections, to do investigations. I just can't see how it would be. Mr. Hoffman, and I have said this at the last meeting, no short-term agreements. Do more analysis like you were talking about, Mr. Wolf. See what other communities are doing, how that legal process holds up. And then, okay, maybe we can add it here. And then go for it. But to just go to this limit, I mean, I'm 200 feet from my neighbor, so I would meet this 300-foot, qualification or condition. But isn't it just about neighbors getting along with neighbors? Right? And how would you know somebody coming in and buying a house a corporation is buying? Who investigates that? I mean, it just seemed that this legislation is taking 11 months to do, and we're nowhere near getting it resolved except, well, we added the 300-foot. And I agree with you, Mr. Cox, about the neighborhood. And I think another gentleman a couple meetings ago said, hey, it's about our character. Is that what we really want to be coming in? All right, I didn't need to go over my 4 minutes, I'm sorry. This is very concerning that we're doing this. It's taken 11 months to get to a point, and I still don't think it's going to be right. Okay, I will shut up now.
Good.
Sharon Goodwin, 6789 Hampshire Road. I am in agreement with both speakers in front of me. I'm not going to go over what they have said. I have run into situations where, with regards to zoning, the buck gets passed to the fire department, gets passed to zoning, gets passed to the police department. Oh, that falls under that, that falls under that, that falls under that. And eventually, really, nothing ever gets done. And these aren't short-term rentals or anything. These are bad actor neighbors or their friends that come over or whatever. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened enough that it's been a problem at times. So having said that, sometimes there doesn't seem to be a clear-cut way of dealing with a problem. I've also been told that you don't really want to get involved because there would be legalities which cost money. So if I understand it correctly, these short-term rentals would have conditional permits, 1 year, is that correct? Okay, so let's say the end of 1 year, the conditional permit is not looking at being renewed. The owner of that property quite likely is going to press legally, which then is going to involve legal representation and money. What will happen then? Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. Schaefer, can I
Yes, sir.
have just 20 seconds more?
Sure.
I think I'm fine. I failed to mention on the original, I think, ordinance, it would have been back maybe in September, it had a comment about revocation. If it escalated to 3 violations, it was going to be permanently revoked, and it's been deleted now to only a 3-month. So if you have 3 violations in 12 months, you only have to sit on the bench for 3 months before you can reapply. It seems like that's a pretty short sentence for that violation. So I'd love it if you got time to reassess that. Maybe it's 9 months, 12 months, something like that, that they have to be put on the bench if they are a bad actor, as we've talked about. And the other thing was on the fire inspection. I know that got taken out a few months ago, and given how tight the houses are, 5 feet from each other, there's not that many to put a burden on the fire department to inspect 20 short-term rentals to make sure that they're complying with everything. So if that house goes up, there's going to be 4 houses right next door that are going to be affected. So, thank you.
I was told by legal counsel that the owner of the property already has a state statutory requirement to make the house fireproof and fire safe. So they already have a statutory legal duty to do that, to fulfill that.
Why did the other communities have that stipulation in there then?
I do not know. It's already a state law, you have to follow it. I can't unwrite state law, that's what I'm saying.
Any other comments?
Trish Bowen, 4057 Milton. I'd just like to reiterate that if a person is, like, say, 250 feet and they want to do a short-term rental, I know somebody said they can always apply for a variance. And that is an option that they can have. It's not like they can't have a short-term rental. They can apply for a variance. And I'd also like to say that I think most of the people that buy these short-term rentals don't even live around. A lot of them don't even live in the state. And I know a couple of them live outside of the country. So there is that going for us too. Thank you.
I had a geographical requirement that was told to be removed by the other proponents. So I had a geographic location for a person that was told to remove that.
Any other comments? Before we move on, I would just like to say thank you for everybody who comes to the meetings on a regular time frame. We appreciate your comments. It helps us figure things out. So after this is over, the short-term rental things, I hope you continue to come. We appreciate your participation. With that, we'll move on to our readings. Resolution 26R-09.
A resolution awarding a bid to North Star Asphalt Incorporated for the Cleveland-Maslin Road Phase 3 resurfacing project and declaring an emergency.
This resolution was assigned to the Streets and Drainage Committee. I motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Quasti?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Crouch?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
I motion to adopt resolution 26R-09.
Second.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Quasti?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Crouch?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Resolution 26R-10.
A resolution to extend the New Franklin citywide solid waste and recycling services contract with Republic Services of Ohio Hauling LLC for the collection and removal of residential recyclables, refuse, and waste materials in the city of New Franklin and declaring an emergency.
Oh, this was, I'm sorry about that, this was assigned to the Public Utilities Committee. Do I have a motion to waive the three?
So moved.
We have a first and a second.
So, Mr. Wolf and Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 26R10?
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Kevin?
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Resolution 26R-11.
A resolution to establish fees for fingerprinting services performed by the New Franklin Police Department and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
I'd like to make a motion to waive the three reading rule.
Second.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution 25R11.
Second.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Ordinance number 26O-02.
An ordinance providing for the regulation of short-term rental operations.
This ordinance was brought in front of the Laws and Ordinance Committee. I ask that we waive the three.
Second.
Mr. Almond?
No.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Just waive the three, yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
No.
So we're not waiving the three, is it going to a second?
No, you received enough votes to waive the three.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
5-2.
So who's adopting?
Oh. I'm asking that we adopt ordinance 26002.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Almond?
No.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
No.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
No.
Passes 4-3. Resolution 26R-12.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a cooperative funding intergovernmental agreement with the County of Summit's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services to fund the State Route 93 Sewer Extension Project, Project Q-834-2D, and declaring an emergency.
This resolution was assigned to the Streets and Drainage Committee. I motion to waive the three readings.
Second.
Is that you, Mr. Plessy? Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 26R12.
Second.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Plessy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Second readings, no third readings. What would we like to do with the pending legislation?
The clerk must read the legislation first before any action can be taken on it.
An ordinance providing for the regulation of short-term rental operations.
The sponsor will withdraw ordinance number 25004.
Second.
Need a second for that.
No.
No.
All right, now we move on to the mayor's report.
Okay, thank you. All right, on May 20th, it's a Wednesday, the Manchester High School class of 2026 will be here for their annual Community Service Day. This has been a great tradition in the past, and we're working with the schools on a few projects that they can work on that day. If anybody has any ideas, anything they'd like to see done, feel free to share that with us, and we'll do our best to take a look at it. Since our last meeting, I'd say we meet with the Energy Special Improvement District, formerly called the Port Authority. I did not know the city of Akron had a Port Authority until I went down and finally made my way to it and was educated on some different funding opportunities available to this department. Just seems to be a great resource if we ever did consider a bond or anything of that nature. They seem to be really good resources for public and private entities. I met with the construction manager from Bell Stores to discuss the incoming sewer on Route 93. They've been a little antsy about making sure we're on schedule. They had demolished the house across the street. The demo of the gas station started a little earlier than they did. Canopy succumbed to the storm last Friday. Looked like they were able to add that to the house demo pile to be removed. I know the excavating company, they're working for a lot of their storm drainage, things like that, it's Bechtel. They've got a very good reputation. I've already put them in touch with our service department to hopefully keep them streamlined and moving efficiently. Speaking of the storm last Friday, I'd like to say thank you to our police, fire, and service departments respectively. I appreciate the teamwork between all these departments. I mean, everybody was out there. It was, if anybody was in town and around, it got pretty crazy, but the communication between the working relationship between all the departments went really well. Most importantly, everybody stayed safe despite the multiple down power lines, trees, and extensive property damage that we had. The Route 93 sewer project looks to have started, and ODOT has opened the bidding process for the paving. It's going to be followed behind the sewer installation. The county continues to be a great resource for us, along with our consulting firm OHM, and it looks as though we're still on schedule. That is very important. ODOT, again, has agreed to move that up for us, so we don't have to pay it twice and spend the money twice. So we're trying to communicate that almost daily to Lockhart to make sure they understand that, and they do. Speaking of the county, today I was finally able to meet County Executive Eileen Shapiro and her staff to discuss New Franklin and our infrastructure needs. We are currently looking at purchasing some blighted property with funds from the Summit County Land Bank. And they've been amazing at walking us through that process. I'm very protective of some of our budgets, such as our parks budget, and want to try to utilize any of those funds we can and spend our money last is always the way I'm going into this. Before meeting with County Executive Shapiro, I was able to participate on a call with Mike Benet from the county to discuss a potential regionalized sewer service. Also on the call was Congresswoman Sykes' office, Mayor Bud McDaniel of Clinton, and just a few other team members. We're just, and OHM on behalf of the county submitted a $12 million request for the south end of town to give them the opportunity, and this is years in the making, but to start the process of a regionalized sewer system. Hopefully that would include Canal Fulton, possibly Doylestown. There's a great need for this. Sharing the cost of running and maintaining the plant, if it was funded and built, would be much more feasible among all of our communities versus any of us trying to accomplish this individually. Quite frankly, none of us would be able to afford it if we kind of didn't do it together. And again, I've learned in this job, government works somewhat slow, if you have heard. But I figured I want to be on the call, participate. Although we are getting water and sewer on the north end of town, I want to make sure we're providing those services if possible on the south end of town. One of the first questions I asked and Mayor Budd asked was, is this a requirement or would there be a mandate? And they said they had really loosened up on that after the Norton fiasco from a few years ago. I did not get that in writing, but that is something I want to ask and continue to ask because I know there are costs involved with that. As we move forward, I'll continue to kind of hit that hot topic button and make sure. The county executive office brought the Summit Connects program, which is running fiber to, I think, a couple of our department heads touched on it, to connect all of our government offices to make it seamless. We're all operating off that. Where we really need that is our service department. Right now, we're operating off basically a cell phone. If it's in play, I just authorized spending a little bit of money to enhance that, because sometimes we've had to move them up to here to work because they just aren't getting service, can't get calls consistently, and I brought that up to the county. They're going to look at it. Maybe they can move that area up a little bit to get them on the network quicker, so we can take advantage of that. And just go back to the sewer. The county and Congresswoman Sykes' office recognize the environmental impact of some of our failing septic systems throughout the area. Obviously, we have beautiful lakes, parks, and the less we can impact that with our sewer, the better. If the weather will finally start to cooperate, we have met and planned for getting our parks prepped and ready for the spring and summer. At Cicero, we continue to coordinate and communicate plans for the already purchased restrooms with the school, service department, and engineers. I'm just kind of dotting our I's, crossing our T's, making sure from our stormwater to making sure that treatment plant's where we need to be, that we're doing it correctly. And last thing I want to do is bring in porta potties for the middle school because we haven't done our due diligence. So we're continuing to meet on that several times a week. We're starting to get all the ball fields ready. Tennis and pickleball nets are up, and we have a plan for each park to get them ready to go. And getting them ready to go, I think there's some areas where we can enhance, and Councilman Cluskey and I have talked about this. He was in on the meeting today to build them up and make sure we're not, we're taking care of them and not letting anything fall through the cracks or get unsafe or anything like that. We did have some storm damage we're working through at Lockhart, Rill, and Cicero parks, mostly treating wind damage, and we're currently assessing and cleaning up. Again, thank you to the service department for handling this. We're also having to salt and deal with the winter that just won't go away. Mason's Cove at the Tudor House had asked if they could remove the gazebo that was there since it's in the way of some of the sidewalks. They want to install the conservatory to make it ADA compatible and things like that. The gazebo has been partially funded by the Ducks of Portage Lakes with the help of former Mayor Bolus, and it's still in good shape. So I hate to waste that resource. We have moved it over to Bolus Park. The Tudor House kind of threw it at me, came with the Tudor House very quickly, so we had to react to it. It is not ready by any stretch, but we have it. They moved it over to that park. We are going to put a pad, make sure it's level and things like that. Within 15 minutes of dropping that sucker off, former Mayor Bolus called me and texted me, gave us his blessing, which was good, that we were salvaging that. I think it'll be a nice, just people walking their dogs, using the park. It'll be a nice, kind of tranquil place to sit down and relax in that park. It's a beautiful park. Jim told me he saw about a dozen deer over there the other day, and we want people to enjoy it, but enhance it in a way not to disturb it, the best we can. But again, former Mayor Bolus was on it as soon as that thing got over there. And over the next couple of weeks, we hope to have that settled in and ready to go. During the polar bear jump a few weeks back, someone drove through the gate between the state park parking lot and the Tudor house. We were going to repair it, but we put up temporary barriers for now. In my experience going over there, we have cars going between the state park parking and the Tudor house, and pedestrians walking there too. It's a tight squeeze. It makes me nervous when I'm walking my own family, seeing other people walk. So before we make the permanent repair, we've already sketched it up and are putting just a crushed limestone pedestrian walkway outside of that gate, just to make it safer, to be honest. I communicated that to the state park because it'd be partially on their property too. They gave me a full blessing on that. I just don't want to take a chance of, there's been enough near misses there that somebody ran it over before we replace it and repair it. I just want to do it the right way and the safest way possible. So we're working through that process right now, and should also have that done within the next few weeks. And I think I touched on the land bank, but to stretch every dollar of our parks budget, we've started reaching out to local companies, organizations, and residents for potential sponsorship monies to enhance and upgrade our facilities for our residents. For example, our dugouts are in really bad shape at Lockhart. I've been kind of reaching out, Robert's been reaching out about raising some private funds to help with that, people wanting to help out, recognizing they could use some work. As far as parking over there, I'm checking with the school, their old treatment plant from the old stadium is over in Lockhart's north end. They don't use that anymore since old Nemasil has been knocked down. And if we can get rid of that, that would open up some more parking over there too, where we could clear it out in that back corner. Again, make it safer. There's kids, people walking, cars pulling in and out. We're continuing to work on that parking lot, which I know is not great. And I'm trying to chase grant money and funding to do that, because it will be expensive to do that properly. Just a couple other things. I think several of us, including me, have gotten calls about the road into the Manchester Middle School that we use for Cicero Park, the pickleball courts and the tennis courts. We typically help fill in the potholes there. I had talked to Superintendent Gary Hinton about redoing that. A few months ago on the other side of the fence, we said that the school board meeting thought about how the city should help us with that. What we have been with the potholes, they're getting price on milling that out and doing it the right way. Doesn't sound like they're quite ready. I said, hey, we can look at contributing to that somewhat. I did not commit to a dollar amount. But in the meantime, I think we're going to go over and patch some of the worst ones until they get their ducks in a row and ready to go. Because we're practically losing cars in that thing. It's getting so bad. And after this winter, it really, really opened up. Just like we've done with the painting in here, for the carpet and stuff, this was all original from 22 years ago, I believe. We're getting ready to choose a carpet company to come install. We've gotten 3 bids. Chris in the office, and we've really kind of gone back and forth, beating on these carpet companies, trying to get the best price we can. We're basically going to a commercial grade similar to this, and then with the code base back up. But just know that, just like we do with the painting, we're going to have to get multiple bids, going back and forth, looking at different options, trying to be very cautious and conservative with the taxpayer dollar there. But we do want to make it look professional and bring it up to speed. My wife and I are matting, and I like historical photos and kind of where we've come from, where we are. And we plan on decorating with some of that stuff. Going down to the library, they have prints and stuff we can use for that. We just need to mat and print and, frame it. That's what we were thinking about doing. There were already some out in this hallway putting this back up. So we hope to have that done in a lot of the carpet proposal to you guys. By then, the police department, even though I accused them of abusing their area over there. They also have the original carpet. They are a 24/7 operation, tracking in and out. Their carpet is literally separated over there. It looks rough. We're looking at painting carpet there. I'm taking a few proposals to the Ducks of Portage Lakes to see if they'll help us fund that. Looking at other avenues. We find people who do want to help support the police and fire departments in that way. Just so we don't have to write the entire check on it potentially. So I'll have an update for you on that as well going forward. And then lastly, we have a young man who's interested in an internship opportunity. I think it's important to continue to keep our young people in the community involved in our local government. I'm going to be talking to him next week and seeing what we can think up for him to help and get him involved with the city. He's been very enthusiastic about it. Our communications manager, Katie Smith, and I have been working on a program to go to our 4 school districts and also see similar to how Green does. If they want a student liaison to come to our meetings, give input. Again, I like to get their buy-in to keep them involved so they know what's going on in the city they live in. So we hope to have some updates on that next meeting as well. So that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have more to add to the finance report tonight?
Only one thing, that finally our 2024 audit, we're having the post-audit meeting tomorrow at 1. So it's done, finally. It's done through all the reviews. So we're going to have that post-audit meeting, and then after that, then it should be finalized, put up on their website, and everything should be done and obviously we're starting in 2025.
For 2024,
Yep.
Crazy.
And it's independent auditor, so it'll get done faster.
Okay, thank you. Old business.
One thing I have, I know this was a few months ago, during one of our Saturday meetings, we had talked with some people about the cemeteries. And we're getting close to implementing the change of season, if you will. We were going to meet out there the last Saturday, I think, of March, if I remember correctly. And just as kind of a reminder to people, I'm not sure if we had a time, was it noon?
Noon is good, that's good for you.
So I'll reach out to the people that were interested in that. We've had a lot of comment over the last year or so about some of the changes. And we were going to meet out there, walk around, just have some discussion with them and everything. I'm going to talk to Dale as well.
Is that this Saturday you said?
The 28th.
28th.
That would be
Next Saturday.
Okay.
2 Saturdays out.
You said noon?
Yeah, and I'll send out an email just
Okay.
for anybody that wants to come, you're more than welcome to. It's just to kind of go through the rules and just get a visual as to how they apply and stuff like that. I know we've had the one lady who seems to be impacted quite a bit with what she's wanting to do out there. And I think it's just good just to get some eyes on it and get a few other people.
Yeah, that could be there if I can, for sure.
Those of you that were at the Parks meeting last night, help me remember, it was April 11th. Is that the date for the rest of the beach in the East End Park?
I believe so.
April 11th.
I believe so, yes.
So that's still going on, so put that on the calendar.
Are you running in that direction?
I'm backwards.
I'll walk with it.
Did you say you would run with me?
I'll walk with it.
Oh.
I'll walk with it.
Actually, we're going to get the golf cart from the 2 house.
Yeah, there's no cartilage left in these knees, Judy. So,
I understood you say that, sorry.
Any new business?
I'm going to be working with the scouts as I have in the last few years to look at some dates for another toucher truck. This would be our 4th or 5th year. So the event we hold out here, pretty good attendance, works out very well. Coordinate that with the Boy Scouts. They do a pancake or a big breakfast. That kind of drives some traffic to them, also drives some traffic to us. Police, fire, EMR, we get a handful of resources out there. It's great to see the kids light up when they're seeing all the big trucks and the traffic. I'll have some more of that, but we're starting those talks now.
Awesome. Any other new business?
I've been talking with the PUCO about the Vanderhook railroad crossing. It was fixed last September, and it's extremely rough again. The patches they did on it are not good. They have found that it is not in good standing with the Ohio Revised Code, and would suggest put in for repairs or possible replacement to it. They have not got back to me on what their plan is yet, but they have sent me the report and pictures. I went out and took pictures of what I found out there as well, and been in communication with them back and forth.
Who are you in communication with there, Robert?
Tyler, I believe is his name. I have his contact info.
With what?
UCO.
Okay.
I just got the report back. I had to request the report, the newest one and the oldest one. I sent everybody on council.
Yeah.
The old one, I'll send you guys all the new one as well that I got back from them. You have to request one every time. So he told me to keep in touch with him, and he'll keep in touch with me on what's transpiring with it.
It's crazy. Center Road seems to hold up much better than Vanderhook.
You were on the center.
Yeah, so we had a resident come in, he put in a lot of investigative work on it, had pictures and a whole presentation. And after that, I did some work on the other side, found out the contacts and stuff. I put some stuff on social media to try to drive people to, it's all driven on complaints, and the more complaints you get about a certain intersection or crossing, they started addressing it. So we started to get some traction on that. They went out, they looked at both crossings. They found some physical defects on Center, which drove them to do an actual repair, close down the road and stuff for a period of time. When they were looking at Vanderhook, they didn't see those same types of defects, so they just did an interim type repair on it. And then we had more people submit, but they haven't done anything like it.
So his findings said he found damage that would classify as rough crossing in several areas throughout. The crossing showed deteriorating asphalt, including breaking pavement, potholes, surface rippling, timbers are loose and splitting, uneven surfaces are present across the entire crossing. So he said they are replacing several other crossings around our area. So hopefully we would be one of those that would get.
That one is solicit complaints, but if on our newsletter we put out, hey, if you're experiencing that.
I can get you the links to I put together a whole, if you will, how-to, that gave the crossing ID, it gave the link to go to, and gave the buzzwords of what to put in there that gets their attention.
It might be something Katie could include in there, just because it is a problem. It's not good.
And just to touch base on what you were talking about with Lockhart, if anybody has any contacts with fencing or concrete companies, please get in touch.
Any additional new business?
I want to mention two people to donate to Publishing Ministries and Haven of Rest. And even like for the Kiwanis and the area clubs that really do things, they do a lot of programs for children like Easter and different things for children that don't have things to take home. I think that's really important too. And so many of us could donate to that, even if we could not do something like that.
Move on to public questions and answers on issues raised at the meeting tonight.
Not on short-term rentals, thank God, right? I want to give a shout out to Republic Services because we have a very complicated neighborhood that we are. We have basically two one-way roads on Melcher and Alton. You can't, technically there are two ways, but you can't cross two cars. They have to back their vehicle down. There's overhead wires with electric running over it. They got to make sure when they dump the bucket, they do it right. So I appreciate your comment about them, people learning the routes and not taking our wires down. And they have to hand drag these trash cans from Alton up there. So I'm glad that we're re-upping with Republic. One question I did have on it, you guys might not know the answer, but recycling. I've heard from different communities that we're actually throwing this recycling away, but we don't want to train people to not do it because maybe in some year we'll actually recycle again. Do we know whether they're throwing the recycling in the garbage for Republic in our town? Or do you want us to keep that off the record?
Well,
I feel like they'd be committing fraud if they.
Well, they charge us for it, so that would be, geez, I would hope not. They didn't come out and say they're throwing it away, let's put it that way. But
I'd be interested in knowing because we go to work to do it. We're going to do it, but I'm not sure that it's actually doing it.
Well, I'm going to be talking about the contract tomorrow. I will confirm that. That would be not
See, maybe what they're talking about is that sometimes people don't recycle. They put it out as recyclables, but then that contaminates that road.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about people that actually do it the right way, but because it's not in demand and it costs them more
It
to
does cost
actually
money.
redo it, it's cheaper to throw it away.
They roll a separate truck, but I think it gets.
They do a separate truck.
It gets out to the same.
Charges.
I don't know, yeah, and I don't know if they do any recycling. I know that they had limited the things that you could put in your recycling bin, like no longer glass and things of that nature. So I think they are doing some, but I wouldn't, swear my life on that. But it gets more and more limited as to what they will use.
I've heard that, though, what you're saying, not through Republic, just.
Because China used to buy our mixed recycled and I want them anymore. But I do have an unrelated question. For citizens that want to get their street on the resurface list, like our street, how do we go about that process?
If you email me, I'll check it and see if it's on there, and, like Courtney said, everyone's been graded, at least I can double check.
I mean, we only have 8 houses on our street, so it wouldn't be well recognized as a big, long.
Well, it's still street, it's still kind of a street. But no, if you email me, I'll check, Ben and Jim have sent me a couple streets too to check, but,
All right.
we'll check with them and follow up with you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Okay.
It's related to the sewer lines that have been put in, and according to the legislation that you guys passed tonight, it's running from Johns down to Minnesota.
No, the Grace Bible.
Okay, Just the agreement said, West Minnesota Road, I thought it was only going to Grace, that's why I was asking. It says it's going to West Minnesota on Winchester Road. You guys news to me.
No, yeah, if it was, it's a typo.
I know they talked about like trying to wiggle it down like Renniger and stuff to get to the schools and stuff.
We didn't say anything like that, it just said the sewer line was going from Johns Road down to West Minnesota. And I was assuming that was the tavern, but.
It's saying between West and Minnesota, but I'll see if I can get a little more specific.
Okay, can you just,
Yeah.
I don't know if the people on that.
No, they don't stop
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're gonna stop there with the sewer, so.
We just don't want to square on that language, I'll see what I can get squared
So
that out.
that's just an amendment if that changes.
Yeah.
And then also with this agreement for the sewers, saying that, up to $385,000 to come back to the city once the, county takes it over.
Yeah.
Is it, and they said up to 385, is there a determining factor that sets it or reduces that amount is what couldn't find anything in the agreement.
Nobody was up to it.
It just said up to 385 would come back to the city once the ownership was turned over. I didn't see anything where it clarified what would reduce that amount.
It just says an amount not to exceed.
Right, and I was looking like.
And usually that language just means that it won't be over that amount. It doesn't talk about under, it isn't usually used for something under that amount. It's used for something over that amount. And this is the max that they will pay, so that they say that's what we're paying. So it doesn't usually mean that there will be an under, it's not usually used in that form in contracts.
Where that could come into play is if there was a change order or something that increased the total cost of the scope of the work.
Okay, that's
They're
what I was.
committing to a certain percentage of that project and they won't pay any more than that.
Understood. I just didn't know, usually in agreements, there's some type of wording that says what that. Okay, and then I have, my last question is if there are cost overruns, who pays for that? The city only or, because in other projects we've done, something comes up that is unforeseen.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know, it wasn't, like it's up to pay the construction cost of like 2.6 million. I never did when I was.
Those are grant dollars, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yes, this is that one, we're using the funds for, from the one strategic, initiative that we got, 3.8 million, we're using those funds to do this project. are part of
So-
that project.
We received.
New Franklin would, throw some, New Franklin would pay any cost for the rents.
Well, we received.
Through that grant money that we
It
received.
would come from that grant, but the city is paying
Yes,
for that,
because
which
we
reduces
have that money,
any
yes.
extra amounts for
Yes, we would be paying for it.
the city. What I was trying to get at is, would the county raise that amount or no?
I mean, I'd certainly ask Robin if we run into something like that.
Something that your list, Mayor, I just,
No, for sure.
plan on that, but I mean, if it goes up, we
not
make sure we get all three
Yeah,
of five
that's
back,
fine.
right, so.
No, I can certainly get clear, make sure that hopefully this doesn't arise.
I mean, I don't want to.
No.
I think 2.5 sounds really good to me as to get it, but if it's going all the way down to Minnesota, that probably seems low to me.
Yeah, it's not, I don't know why they.
But I didn't, just questions.
I read it as, we're looking in the future, not for this specific project, but as we look to the future to extend it to.
Yes, down that way,
Right.
yes, correct.
Contract language. It says it's going to Minnesota for the 2.5, that's.
It says between though, that's the next road,
Yeah, it says between.
between Western Saw and John.
Not up to.
Okay,
So.
so it's really between, okay.
I know, even though Western Saw's like, I'm there.
Yeah.
For that money, I'd love for them to take it.
Well, that's what I was saying, about
So,
2.5, right?
I mean, I'll ask. I mean,
It's like when we get to the church, man, I can imagine what it is down to the, okay.
It's expensive, that is for sure.
All right, any more comments or questions? Seeing none, we have a reason for an executive session.
Yes, sir.
Our next council meeting will be April 1st of 2026, great day, April 1st day, the day we're here. Have a motion for adjournment. Second.
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Westley?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?